One.
Turn yours off. Turn yours off. Testing 1, 2. Okay.
Go by check there.
Okay.
Yeah, you spread it from the
Yeah, I know.
and they're off.
Folks, good afternoon. It's a hot and sunny day in Angola. This is the third race of the Angola Cycling Association. Today the race is between the Sandy Hill Roundabout and the Valley Roundabout, 47.5 kilometers. It's the elite, and it's comprised of cyclists from St. Martin and Anguilla. It's going to be interesting. It's hot, temperature is 27 degrees. We have a wind of the east at 17 knots. It's going to be a good tailwind going to the west, and it's going to be a struggle coming back to the east. We've made our first turn at the Sandy Hill Roundabout. Peloton is still together, and we're heading back west. St. Martin and Anguilla. Good afternoon, folks. Glad to be in your home. Those that are on the way to see the race, we encourage you to come out. Come enjoy the color, the action, the drama, and the splendor of the world's most spectacular sport. It's cycling on the streets of Angola, folks. Okay, the peloton is still together. And it's hard to distinguish the St. Martin guys because at the moment we don't have numbers. But from Angola we have Del Riccardi, Shotman, as the guy Osborne, and Darren Carty. Race is pretty early. No clear breaks as yet. Interesting crowd building. So it's going to be real interesting to see who's going to emerge winner of the third Angola Cycling Association road race. Snow Hills is generally flat, so it's going to be a pacer's race today. At the moment the race is actually, well, we're passing the Best Buy supermarket now. Small peloton. Hazel, you have a count on how many guys started?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
How many guys started the race?
Looks like we have a total of seven guys in the race now. Yeah, 7 guys.
7 guys. Small field, folks, but it's gonna be interesting. Snow Hills, general flat. Good tailwind, 17 knots. We're gonna see how they manage to navigate themselves heading back east, but that's 17 knots in their face.
Are they the juniors in the field, or are they all seniors?
It appears as if they're all the seniors. Folks, bringing commentary to you today is Carl Thomas, and I'm actually a co-host with Von Hazel. And the third Angola Cycling Association road race on the streets of Angola. Very hot today, very windy. Who's going to emerge winner? Still yet to be seen. Guys are taking on water. I guess they're already dehydrated. Coming through the Farrington. And we're gonna go through the quarter, turn around at the roundabout in the valley. I can see Darren has turned it up. There's a small acceleration there. The field is still together. Yes, folks, it's the Anguilla Amateur Cycling Association Cycling One-Day Classic. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's about 8 cyclists, Hazel, not 7.
Yeah, it look like 8 now. Yeah.
So just a correction. Someone has a technical. Someone from one of the St. Martin teams, they have a technical, and we don't see his support vehicle. Not much we can do. We are just a commentary team, folks. But looks like all is well. And he's back in the action again. The Farrington, we are coming through you. 3rd Cycling Association One-Day Classic. Don't expect any other breaks as yet. Well, I think I spoke too fast. There goes Shortman on the attack. There goes Shortman on the attack. Counter by St. Martin. Let's see who else is going to follow. The Shortman has gone. Okay, folks, we can get acceleration from the rest of the peloton now. They're going to be organizing the chase. Of course, you know Anguilla's going to sit down because Shortman is representing Anguilla. Don't expect any action from Delroy or from Darren. That's the way teams works. Yep, there goes the American folks. A direct fight between Anguilla and Miami. It leaves the Clayton J. Lloyd International Airport, heading back to Miami. At the University Corner, heading to Proctor's. Through the quarter, we're going to turn at the roundabout in the upper valley next to the park, and we're going to reverse course back to the Sandy Hill roundabout. Well, the field was able to pull back Shortman, so the peloton is together again. No real excitement. The race is still early. It's 47 kilometers on a hot day.
I believe this is Shortman's first race back also, right?
Not too sure.
Yeah, I don't think he's raced for the year as yet.
But knowing the caliber of Shortman, I think there's a lot in that engine room today. If you have to pick the favorites, Hazel, who will you be looking at?
Well, I mean, we know the top 3 Anguilla cyclists. We have Delroy that's, really has some really good form. Darren is also doing pretty well on the bike, and Shortman, well, I haven't seen him for the year so far, but noting his history, I would say he would also be a pretty good category.
Well, I'm not a gambler, Hazel, but if I'm gonna gamble, I'm going with Carty.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Folks, the race is coming through the Lakes roundabout stoplight now, heading down to the upper valley. Peloton basically still together. Knowing the form of Delroy, if I were to pick up one person that's going to emerge, and I think it's going to be a break, I think Delroy. Turning at a roundabout now. The field is still together. The field is still together. End the roundabout. Oops. There's a little fall. One of the St. Martin cyclists is down, but he's back again. That's the spirit, my friend. That's the spirit.
I don't understand why they wouldn't have someone, a police or something around this roundabout.
Yeah, I think we need probably to get one of our traffic wardens down here. But it was a small accident. One of the St. Martin cyclists took a small fall, but he's back on his bike again, and he is going to have A very hard job to catch that peloton back. 17 knots headwind from the east. 27 degrees. It's real hot, folks. 81 degrees Fahrenheit, 27 degrees Celsius. It's a hot day in Anguilla. He's going to have a very hard job. He's going to have to time trial to get back to that peloton today. Let's see what he have in that engine room, how far down he can dig to get back. Well, the peloton is slowing up, so no doubt he has a chance of actually getting himself back. Yep, if he keep rolling like that, he definitely will get back to the peloton. But it's windy and it's hot. Okay, the peloton goes again. There's someone up front that is accelerating. Oh, this cyclist is gonna have a tough job to get back in. Yeah, I can see the look on his face of despair. But it's cycling and these things do happen. Okay, folks, we're back with the main field. There's one man that is off because of a little incident at the Upper Valley Roundabout. 4, 7. So we have a 7-man group that is leading. They're all together. Okay, we are passing the university now, the medical center. Heading to the Farrington. Is all flat. It's all flat today. And those of you who have been following cycling, we saw the results of Anguilla's Hassan Hennis.
The other cyclist is right behind us.
Okay, the other, yep, he's coming here as well. Yeah, yeah, just let him pass on our left. Great job of motoring. He motored himself all the way back to the peloton. He have to be a happy man today. There was an incident at the Upper Valley Roundabout where he took a fall, no damage to his bike, no damage to his person. And he time trialed all the way back. So this is a reset. And there goes the peloton again. There's an acceleration coming from St. Martin. We don't have any numbers, so it's actually hard to identify the cyclists. There goes Delroy. There's an attack. He's accelerating. Oh, yo, Delroy has turned it up. Let's see how strong these other guys are. Okay, Delroy has raised up. So it's a game of cat and mouse now. It's Anguilla against St. Martin. Folks, come on out, witness the action, the color, the drama of the world's most spectacular sport. It's witness the action, the color, the drama of the world's most spectacular sport. It's cycling. There's an attack launched by St. Martin. Let's see who's gonna counter. Yep. It's cat and mouse. Some communication going on between Darren and Delroy. I don't know what they're saying, but it looks like Delroy told Darren to hold my wheel. And the peloton has slowed up again. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting. We know the strength and the power of Shortman, although he's not in form. And we know Delroy. Two of those cyclists have rode at the Commonwealth Games on 2 occasions. So we know the knowledge and the level of experience they all bring. Darren, very knowledgeable of the sport. No regional experience to speak about, no international experience to speak about. But nevertheless, we've seen him over the years holding his own on the streets of Anguilla. In terms of the St. Martin cyclist, I don't know the caliber, so it's actually hard to say, but I can tell you it's going to be interesting today. 47 kilometers. Blistering heat in Anguilla. 17 knots of headwind in the chest. Heading through the Farrington. We're gonna pass back by the start roundabout, and we're gonna be reversing courses all day today until we get to the end. Passing the Anguilla Community College. Of course, this is this new venue. Originally, it was housed down at George Hill, next to the traffic light, but they have relocated now to the Farrington. Yes, folks, we are passing Charlie's water supply. Small little incline, nothing to get excited about. And then we're gonna go back on the flat, and we're gonna be passing the Best Buy. See the type of gear shot man is turning. He's on his big plate. Don't know what his gear ratio is, but most of the guys are actually turning the big plate. Well, Delroy is turning his small plate, and I think one or two other St. Martin guys are turning their small plate. But well, the peloton has almost come to a standstill. This is a game of cat and mouse. This is a game of cat and mouse. I suspect somebody's gonna hit. I suspect someone is gonna hit. The peloton right now is being led by Delroy. Slight acceleration, but nothing to get excited about. It's a flat race. It's a flat, no hills. I think the only issue the cyclist is going to be battling with today is that wind in the chest. Okay, Delroy has hit. There is an attack. Delroy has attacked. Acceleration. We are passing back by the start-finish line. And Delroy is telling them to come. And Delroy is urging them on. Folks, it's action. It's color. Attacked by one of the St. Martin cyclists. No doubt cycling is one of the world's most exciting sports. It's full of color, full of action, and no doubt full of drama. Well, Sharpman has accelerated. I don't know, there's some sort of communication between St. Martin and Sharpman and one of the St. Martin cyclists. How long can they keep this up?
Tell them.
How long can they keep this up, folks? Down to the Sandy Hill roundabout for the second turn around the roundabout. We're going to reverse course back to the valley. Okay, Shortman is urging one of the St. Martin cyclists to be very careful. I believe that's the cyclist that took a fall in the valley earlier. So he's been very cautious going around the roundabout. Okay, he made it around, navigated around very safely. And Delroy has raised it a bit. And Darren has gone. Let's see if he's going to hold it or if he's going to raise. Folks, it's coming to you. Back to the streets of Anguilla, heading down to the Farrington. Okay, one of the St. Martin cyclists, I think the lights have gone off in his engine room. It's getting quiet and he's out. If Darren was to keep that pace up, I think that's going to be it for him. Okay, the lights have gone up for him. It's completely dark in his engine room. He's out. Yes, folks, we're heading back down the Farrington, and there's an attack by one of the St. Martin cyclists. Let's see who's going to counter. Folks, this is getting exciting. This is what cycling is all about. It's full of action and drama. So we have two Anguillians out on a break, followed closely by a St. Martin cyclist. and followed by Shortman. So we got 3 St. Martin cyclists that are in the back, 3 Anguillians and 1 St. Martin. So let's see what's going to happen up front. Hazel, I suspect if Delroy was to keep the pressure on, I think that's going to be it for the rest of these guys.
Yeah, I think we have 2 casualties so far. These guys are still fighting to come back.
Yeah, it's going to be hard though, Hazel, because if Delroy was to turn it up and maintain it, I think it's going to be good night, Irene.
Yeah. You think Shortman's going to be able to bridge the gap?
I think he can. He has the ability.
Yeah, I mean, he's going downwind, so at least he doesn't have the wind to fight against.
Yeah, he's going to have that.
Be able to close that back in because the guys are starting to slow a bit.
He's going to have that tailwind there.
I don't see the St. Martin cyclists being able to catch back. I think they have 1 man up front, but the rest of them have definitely spent all their money.
Yep, I think they spent the money and the party's over for them. I think Shortman has the ability to close back. Folks, we got a 3-man break right now with one of the St. Martin cyclists. I think we're doing injustice to him. We don't have his name, it's no fault of ours, but we're bringing the best coverage that we can. So there's a 3-man break with Delroy Carty, Anguilla, Darren Carty, Anguilla, and the lone St. Martin survivor. Oh, he's gonna get baptized today, and it just might be baptism by fire because it's hot. The pace is getting hot. The temperature is hot. It's gonna be action today. Farrington, we are coming back through you for the 2nd time. It's the 3rd Anglo Amateur Cycling Association 1-day cycling classic, 47 kilometers in the smeltering heat. Okay, we think Shortman he got a second life and he's coming. If Shortman could bridge the gap, it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how they all would walk against the lone St. Martin cyclist. Coming through the streets of Anguilla, through the Farrington, heading by Mega Center, and we are passing Nick's business place. Saying hi to Nick wherever you are. If you're in St. Thomas, saying hi. Nick is one of our cyclists, but now resides in St. Thomas. He goes to university in St. Thomas. The Mega Depot. We're passing the Mega Depot now. Back to the university, through the quarter, the upper valley, roundabout, reverse course back to the east.
The gap to Shortman is getting a little bit bigger.
Yep, I think Shortman is probably getting out of it. I suspect Shortman probably might roll back when we're going east because he's that type of cyclist. I'm not certain what the communication is, but if Delroy and those guys keep that type of pressure on, it might be difficult for him. But Shortman is that type of cyclist that can roll on the flat. Folks, over in Jamaica, today was the end of that 3-day cycling classic where Angola's own Hassan Hennis emerged the winner. 320 miles over 3 days. So I think that's going to do a world of good for Hassan's confidence. Look out the quarter. We are coming through you. Yep, it's a 3-man break. Delroy Carty, the lone St. Martin survivor, and Darren Carty of Anguilla. Lakes traffic light. Well, the St. Martin cyclist is looking back. He's probably looking for his colleagues. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to tell him there is no help. You either walk with the Anguillians or they're going to walk against you. Okay, folks, we're approaching a roundabout again, passing the new polyclinic in the valley, around the valley roundabout next to the Webster's Park. Okay, we're going to reverse course and we're going back to the east. We're going to be doing this all day, folks, bringing you live coverage of the 3rd Anguilla Association Cycling One Day Classic. It's going to be pretty interesting going East Hazel with the wind. When the peloton was together, 1 or 2 guys could have sheltered, but now it's all separated. Let's see how they're going to manage with the wind in the chest. 17 knots at 20 miles per hour today on the streets of Anguilla. And let me remind you, cycling is a very grueling sport, especially when the temperature is the way it is today. 27 degrees Celsius. For those who calculate in Fahrenheit, it's 81 degrees Fahrenheit. And there is no shade. So I can see Delroy communicating with Darren. I wish I could have tell you what they're saying. But it's the lone St. Martin cyclists and the 2 homeboys. Folks, we're approaching Proctor's, and we're going to go around the university, and it's that long stretch. There is nothing really to break the wind. We don't have any tall buildings, no tall trees, so it's wind in your chest. Okay, somebody's taking on some sort of supplements. I guess it's Delroy replenishing that tank that he have some sort of gel he's taking on, and no doubt it's all legal. Of course, we know the type of substances that cyclists have been taking on that are all banned and illegal. Okay, folks, we are approaching Mega Center again, just passing the Anglet, one of Anglet's satellite offices. And it's a 3-man break. Well, the St. Martin cyclist is telling Darren something. No doubt he's looking for friends today, Hazel. So it's either do or die. You either make a friend or we make you an enemy. Approaching Mega Center. It's Delroy Cardi, Darren, and the lone St. Martin cyclist. Through the streets of Anguilla, through the Farrington. Not certain why our forefathers would have named it the Farrington. I assume because it's far in tongue. Not certain. But that's the name of the village, the Farrington. Passing Nick's again. Hi, Nick. Wherever you are, saying good afternoon. Coming through the Farrington. We're approaching what used to be the Super Cinema. If you guys remember back in the day, this was a modern theater. Of course, it was damaged during Hurricane Irma and have not been repaired since. Cycling fans, cycling enthusiasts, all side of the street, cheering the guys on. Folks, cycling is a very exciting sport when you are a spectator. But we cyclists know when we're on the bike, when the odds are against us, it's not easy. When that lactic acid begins to build and the legs get heavy and there's no oxygen moving, you begin to second guess yourself as to why you're doing this. And then after the sport, you're all rested and you're ready for the next race again. Yeah, fans are shouting down the cyclist through the Farrington. 3-man break. We don't have a meter to calculate the distance that we've covered so far. No, the distance. But we're actually doing about, that's kilometers, Carter? Yeah, about 30 kilometers. The race distance today that we're going to be covering is 47.5 kilometers. Approaching Anguilla, coming into the college again. And the distance, I don't see any cyclists. While I was anticipating that, knowing the strength and the caliber of Shortman, that he probably would have been able to roll back himself into this 3-man break coming east. I think it shows you that Shortman has no form. Of course, we know he have not been riding. It's all yet in the Anguilla cycling season. So let's see if he can ride himself back into form during the 2023 season. But there's no sight of him. There's no sight of the other St. Martin cyclists. It looks like this is going to be a 1, 2, 3. If these guys can work together, and no doubt they should. No doubt they should, because in this win, a lone break is going to be difficult. No doubt they should. Let's make friends now, but 1 kilometer before the finish line, then it's every man for themselves. Approaching the Best Buy supermarket again. Folks, is cycling in Anguilla. It's the 3rd Anguilla Amateur Cycling Association one-day classic. This is the elite category, 47 kilometers. 3-man break. Anguilla, St. Martin, Anguilla. Who is going to emerge victorious today? For sure, if these 3 guys can stay together, Anguilla will get at least 2 podium spots, for sure. Whether it's 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, however you turn it, there are 2 podium spots for Anguilla. If these can just maintain. Folks, is cycling in Anguilla and the Farrington. Okay, we can hear the organizers shouting there's gonna be a preem, so I expect an attack. Folks, there's a preem when we reverse course and get back to the start-finish line. This is what cycling is all about. Someone is gonna attack. Someone is gonna be richer today. We're gonna go past the veterinary clinic, down the little slope by the roundabout, reverse course. The bell is gonna ring. Who's gonna take the preem? My mother goes to Delroy, Hazel.
Yeah.
Who do you think is gonna take the preem?
Yeah. I think the other cyclists look like they caught up to Shortman. So I guess they'll have to work together to see if they can close this group.
Well, in the interest of the race, it will be interesting, and would be interesting to see if they collaborating together can actually catch the chase group back.
Yeah, 3 more.
Okay, so we are Going over the hill, we're approaching the veterinary clinic, and it's a preem. Okay, folks, there's points at the start, and let's see who's gonna take it. Passing Marlene's veterinary clinic, and this is exciting because I can see the rest of the group, which is how much Hazel is 2? It's 3 St. Martin cyclists along with Sharkman. Can they work together and catch the chase group back? We will see. Well, we were told that there's a preem, but I don't see any excitement as to who's going to take it unless they're working together and speaking among themselves as to how they're going to go about it. But Hazel, does that mean that the other lap is the preem lap? I'm a bit confused as to what the organizer was saying with regards to the preem lap. But nevertheless, it's a 3-man break. Heading back to the west, 17 knots tailwind, and we're approaching the Best Buy supermarkets. That's Best Buy East, folks. Cyclists are communicating among themselves, and that's what cycling is all about. Hazel, can you see the other guys in the back? I don't see them, so I think it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. The St. Martin cyclist is doing a lot of work, followed by Darren in his slipstream, and it's Delroy and Darren in the slipstream. Of course, we know Darren Carty from the fishing village of Sanderground. He dives a lot, dives almost every day, folks. So his breathing should be intact. And we know Delroy Carter, he works at the Angola Electricity Company. So he's the one that keeps our light on night and day. Like I said, we don't have any names, we don't have any numbers, so we're doing a bit of injustice to the St. Martin cyclist because we just can't tell you who he is. But I can tell you he is in a 3-man break with two of Angola's finest. Delroy Carty, we've known he's had 2 international meets. I believe he rode at the Commonwealth Games, I believe, on 2 occasions. Yep, we passed one of the St. Martin cyclists, totally mashed up. I think he's out of it. He probably just want to see the finish line. Just want to see the finish line. And he'll call it a day. So Delroy has taken up the challenge now to pull the 3-man group back down through the Farrington.
problem. Yeah, put up. Huh? But I need a... Ah, yeah. Oh, somebody bite? Yeah, yeah. No, Sean. How long ago?
Folks, you're not missing nothing much. It's sorry for that little break in transmission there, but technical difficulties beyond our control. So we're back in the Farrington. We are passing Charlie's Water Supply. I know Hazel is doing a tremendous job with the video, so I know you are not missing any action. I believe you would have missed the audio. But just to recap, cycling in Anguilla have come the long way. Long way. I was just making mention of one of the national cyclists that we passed out of the street just now giving support, and he's always there to give support. That's the man, Percy Thomas. Some of you might know him in a different capacity, but today we are speaking cycling. Some of y'all, as old as me, can recall an event that was held at Ronald Webster Park on the grass track when they tore the St. Martin guys apart. And I'm speaking about names of Willie Hodge, Samuel Hodge, we call him Willie, where guys like Elridge Richardson, Evan Gums, Chiney Richardson, Percy Thomas, I believe Warrell Brooks would have been around in those days. But those guys blew the St. Martin cyclists apart on the grass track. Folks, Anguilla cycling has some rich history. Has to be told. Will be told. Because when you see a guy like Hassan Hennis going down to Jamaica in that 3-day cycling race and emerging the winner, it just didn't start there. There was a foundation laid, and a lot of thanks must be given to Timothy Richardson. We all know Timothy and the role that he played. Back in the day, we used to call him the school bus. He used to have a lot of kids following him every afternoon, and Hassan was one. Okay, they're announcing that there's going to be a preem, and I believe the preem is going to be on the way back down. I think the preem is going to be on the way back down, so we give you incorrect information before. I can see the cyclists speaking to themselves. They all are in agreement that it is a preem. And I can see Delroy is going up front, no doubt taking charge of the operation. Folks, we are heading to the roundabout. We're approaching Marlene's Veterinary Clinic. We're going to go down a little slope, around the roundabout reverse course, and it's going to be action. Someone is going to be richer today. How much richer? I don't know, but they will be richer. I think our driver is doing a tremendous job. Of course, that's Vaughn Cardi. We have to say thanks to our cameraman, Vaughn Hazel. He's also a comments man. And the roundabout warden is also doing a tremendous job in keeping the traffic safe and keeping the traffic away from the cyclists and keeping the cyclists safe. Folks, we are climbing. It's going to be the preem. Who's going to take it? Who is going to take it? I can see Delroy. He's leading out. And folks, what's interesting is that there's a two-man break, and no doubt they're going to catch the small group back. There's a two-man break, and no doubt they're going to catch the group back. But let's see how good they can rotate and walk together after they turn the runabout and come over that little incline. Well, the group has slowed, and if it's a preem, then I think it's going to be some sort of agreement as to who's going to take it, because I don't see any excitement. Yeah, they all have taken on their fluids. All have taken on their fluids. Folks, we're coming up on the preem. Who's going to take it? There's no real urgency. No urgency. It appears as if there is an agreement. If that was an agreement, that's a gentleman's agreement. That's honorable. If that is what it is, folks, that's honorable, because it appears as if the St. Martin cyclists crossed the line first. I hope that's what I'm seeing. That is honorable. Told you, folks, cycling is an exciting sport. It's the only sport that I know of that is full of action, color, drama, and a lot of splendor, folks. Today, it's the 3rd Anguilla Amateur Cycling Association one-day cycling classics on the street of Anguilla. The route today is generally flat, no hills. Roundabout to roundabout. The Sandy Hill roundabout to the Upper Valley roundabout is all flat, folks. 17 knots of wind, 27 degrees Celsius, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. It's hot on the streets of Anguilla. It's all day. After this race, we're gonna have the Masters, and then we have a couple other categories. So it's cycling all day on the streets of Anguilla. If you're home, glad to be keeping your company. If you want to come out, I urge you to come out because it's going to be action. Come enjoy the color of the world's most spectacular sports. And just to remind you folks, we have a lot to celebrate for, a lot to celebrate about. Today, Hassan Hennis won the 3-stage race down in Mobay. And that was a regional race. Of course, there were cyclists from a lot of other countries. And for our own Anguillian to emerge victorious, of course, he won stage 1. He won stage 2. I didn't see the results today, but in a stage race, you don't have to win every stage. It's all about points and positioning. So today he ended up with the most points, and he is the winner. Make us all proud. So for all the work that we would have put into cycling, past presidents, past associations, past members, because you can't forget the cyclists, because in Anguilla the cyclists have done a tremendous work in supporting all of the associations. Without the cyclists, there is no association. Without the cyclists, there is no race. I want to say thanks to all of those cyclists. Some I will name out again. But special thanks to Timothy Richardson, because Hassan is a product of him. Passing Nick again. Of course, we know Nick out of Anguilla Cyclists. Like I said before, he goes to university down in the Virgin Islands. Hope that when it's all through, when he returns back home, he can join the peloton again. So we approach a mega center again. We don't have a clock to know the distance covered so far, but what I can tell you is we have a long way to go. Of course, Derek Carter, I think he's the PRO of the Cycling Association. Today he's in a role of one of the traffic wardens. Was never a successful cyclist, but he's one who really enjoyed the sport. I can recall he just had power, but he was never a winner, but still around the sport, playing his part. Well, there is no cooping. The 3-man break, they're all constantly walking together. They're walking together. And this is what cycling is all about. When there's a break, you don't have a team member there, you make a friend and you walk together. When you see the banner that signifies the race is coming close to an end, that's when you draw the line. But there's no banner now. It's a long way to go. Must give that St. Martin lone cyclist some credit, because he's holding his own. Because knowing Delroy, if he were to only crank it up, I think it will be good night Irene for him. But friendly rivalry, it's all good. Passing what used to be the casino, Mary's Bakery, Avis Car Rental. Passing to the streets of the quarter, approaching Lakes traffic light. This is a popular spot where all the Spanish people hang out on a Sunday afternoon. Don't see much of them now. Going through the light, through the upper old valley. Well, actually the new valley, that's correction, roundabout. And then we're gonna make a 180 reverse course back to the east. In terms of situation awareness, for those of you who are following us and don't know where we are passing the new Central Polyclinic. Of course, you know the roundabout is right next to that. And what used to be Burroughs Park, of course, name have been changed years ago to the Ronald Webster Park. And that park has a lot of cycling history because a lot of cycling races used to actually end at the entrance to the park. We are passing the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive College School. As a school that I attend. Been a long time that I've been out of that, since 1985. Again, for situation awareness, we're passing that GECO head office. What used to be the snack, Barbara's Enterprises, the Sol gas station, which is Lakes, through the stoplight, back to the east. And I suspect those two cyclists are going to join this three-man break at some point in time. So you have the three-man break with the lone St. Martin rider. You have Darren Carty from the village of Sandegrung. And then you have Delroy Carty from the village of North Side. And they're being chased by short man, Sherwin Osborne, the man that hails from the South American continent of Guyana. And it's short man and a St. Martin cyclist that are chasing. Will they catch back? I don't know. How much they have in the tank, time will tell. Time will tell. Approaching Proctor's, and there we can see another cyclist that is coming down. But my word, he's gonna have to do a lot of work if he have plans on rejoining whether the second group, which is the chase group, or the lead group. He's gonna have to do a lot of work. I'm looking at that St. Martin cyclist, and I can tell you he's a brave guy. Of course, there's no real fire, there's no real attacks that is going on, but he's doing a tremendous work because they are rotating. Darren, which is the way cycling should be. My mind goes all the way back to Samuel Hodge, one of St. Martin's most successful cyclists. For the years I've known Samuel, of course we know him as Willie, he never, from my memory, he never rode with a group. He was always a solo cyclist, but he always made friends in every race. Of course, he did it to his advantage. And as soon as he smelled the finish line, that was it. He was gone. Very smart, very successful cyclist. That's the man, Willie Samuel Hodge. So we're passing the mega depot again. Back to the fountain. It's gonna be exciting. Oops. Okay, there's some traffic, but that's okay now. If it's one thing about cycling in Anguilla, especially when you pass through the fountain, the support from Nick's is always great. Nicola, of course, she's the mother of Nick, always willing to help. No one asks them, they just volunteer. That's the Anguillian spirit when it comes to cycling. If you have nothing to do, of course, COVID is all over now. But the next John T. Memorial Cycle Race, if you're listening to this commentary from any other place in the region, I invite you to come to Anguilla. You're going to see crowd participation. You're going to see support. It's not only the association that does it. It's the individual man that goes in his pocket, buy bananas, buy water, just to support a cyclist. No doubt, pre-COVID, cycling in Angola generated the most interest from spectators in the English-speaking Caribbean. And I've seen a lot of cycling races in a lot of the English-speaking islands, and the crowd participation is very small. They're not involved. But when you come to Anguilla, then you see crowd participation. Okay, the three-man group right now is being led by Darren. Getting a little stretched leg up off his seat. Of course, they are rotating. It's Darren, followed by St. Martin. Delroy, keep getting the names mixed up. Followed by the St. Martin guy, and then it's Darren Carty. So we're going back to the Upper Farrington now. Soon we'll be approaching Anguilla Community College. Then we're going to be passing Charlie's Water Supply. Just bringing some situation awareness so you guys can know where we are. It's a beautiful day in Anguilla. Beautiful day. Visibility unlimited. Few clouds in the sky. And those that are in the sky, they are very high. But what I can report to you is the temperature is 27 degrees Celsius, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. For those of you who understand those figures, you can understand, which gives us a relative humidity of about 75%. Folks, it's a good day. I reckon it's a kind of high pressure why it is so windy, because the wind is 17 knots or 20 miles per hour. And that's what these cyclists have to deal with, wind in their chest. The wind is from the east, and we are actually, the long path is where we are actually driving on, and that's about, in terms of the magnetic compass, it's probably easterly heading. So these guys are riding with a headwind when they're going up and a tailwind when they're going down. So there are advantages and there are disadvantages. But one thing they're doing, they're taking on a lot of fluids because they will get dehydrated in the sun. Delroy is looking back. I'm not certain who he's looking back for. He anticipates Sharpman is going to be bridging the gap. Okay, so the two cyclists that are chasing is Sharpman and a St. Martin cyclist. So no doubt Delroy is expecting Sharpman to join them, which will bring some flavor. Don't know how much Sharpman has in him, but it would be interesting. Would be interesting if Sharpman can rejoin this group. So for right now, folks, it's a three-man break. It's 1, 2, 3. 1 St. Martin, 2 Anguilla. And again, giving you some history. If you understand cycling, if you know cycling, there's always been that rivalry between St. Martin and Anguilla. For many, many years, St. Martin and Anguilla. And I think the proximity of the islands has a lot to do with it. Doesn't cost much to come over on the boat to go either way. So you'll always find St. Martin supporting Anguilla and Anguilla supporting St. Martin. And between these two islands, they've produced some very good cyclists. Very good cyclists. You go back in history, folks, you will remember Philip Richardson. Of course, we all know that he passed on. Akka Chinese. We know the type of cyclist he was. Very good cyclist. Of course, we speak about James Richardson, his brother. He was one of those cyclists from the time the race starts. He never looked back. He put his head down and that was it. Very strong cyclist. People like the likes of Evan, not a big winner, but a good competitor. Nothing to get excited about, but every race he's there, and he used to bring a good mix to the race. Of course, you know, fellas like Ivo, who still to this day thinks that he's still a champion. Okay, there's some action now. I think this is the preem that we was anticipated. I think we had it all mixed up. So Delroy is leading out, followed by St. Martin, followed by Delroy. I think the police vehicle is going to have to drive up. Folks, I think this is the preem. This is the preem segment now. I think we have it all wrong, but there was an acceleration just now that gave me the feeling that there was. It probably just might be. But they have up the tempo. It's up. We're actually doing about 50 kilometers now. Yeah, that was the preem. I think that was the preem. Yeah, because at one point they were up to 50 kilometers. And Delroy had them all stringed out. So it's Delroy, St. Martin, and Darren. Again, we apologize for St. Martin for doing injustice to your cyclist, but we were not given a sheet with his name or number, so we just cannot identify him. But I can tell you, he's hanging in there. He's doing a tremendous work so far and working with the Anguillians because we know the caliber of Delroy. Delroy ridden twice at the international level at the Commonwealth Games, and when you go to the Commonwealth Games, it's it's not like none of these regional meets. You're riding with pro cyclists from, you know, former British colonies. So we're passing another St. Martin cyclist now. There's an attack. There is an attack. The St. Martin guy has gone. I'm wondering if he's making a good decision because, hey, you're riding against two Anguillians. I think you should stay friendly because these guys will eat your supper if you begin to be unfriendly to them. If I was him, I would just, you know, sit down. Let's keep the tempo up from the other guys bridging the gap. And let's walk together until we smell the finish line. But to attack them, I think is going to be destroying the trust. And that is something you just don't want to do. Because when you're a lone cyclist and you have no team members, you need all the help there is in the world. So my advice to him is to take it easy. And walk with the Anguillians. Okay, Sharon, you are the best. Okay, I was just told that the St. Martin cyclist is Lake. His last name is Lake. Folks, there's an attack. And there goes Delroy. Will this be the end of all of the friendship? Time will tell. But Delroy is gone. Followed by Lake from St. Martin and Carty from Anguilla. Folks, we are in the streets of Anguilla, in the Farrington. It's action. If you're home, we are glad to be in your house. If you are coming, please come witness the action, the color, the action, and the drama of the world's most spectacular sports. Folks, it's cycling on the streets of Anguilla today, and Delroy has turned it up a notch. Delroy is actually, well, he have actually backed it off. I'm not certain what message he got just now, but oh my word, he digged deep in that tank. He digged in that tank just now. I think the St. Martin cyclist is Ronaldson Richardson, but I'll call him Lake. I'm sorry. I'll call him Lake just to give him some. Yeah, it's Lake. Well, Lake, that's an Anguillian name. So if you were smart, you will tell those two Anguillians that your last name is Lake so that they can be more friendly to you. Because no doubt Lake is not a St. Martin name. That is for sure. Yep, like I said, if I was the St. Martin guy, I would go up to Delroy and let him know that I'm a Lake. I have family in Anguilla. There's a lot of lakes in St. Martin that have ties with Anguilla, and very strong ties too. Yep. Heading again by the Anglet satellite office, heading back to the west. Delroy is looking back a lot, and I'm not certain if he's looking to see where Sharpman is, because with this tailwind, I think they can do a lot more. With 17 knots coming on your back, I think they can up it till we're probably doing about 30 kilometers now. I think they can do a lot more with this strong tailwind that they have. But Delroy have been looking back a lot, so no doubt he's looking to see where Sharpman is. 47 kilometers. Folks, we apologize once again. We don't have a meter, so we don't know how many kilometers we have covered so far. No doubt we probably will have to get that from the organizers, and then we can report to you. But I can safely tell you we are passing Proctor's. It's a 3-man break. They've slowed again. They have slowed again, and they are communicating. What are they saying? Only the good master knows. Only the good master knows. Only the good master knows. So Angola would have produced some real talented cyclists. I've made mention of Philip Richardson, Akachini. Of course, coming from the cycling hotbed of George Hill. I've been around cycling a long time. But the Valley also produced some good cyclists. We all would remember Latson Richardson. He lives in St. Thomas now. We also remember Shan. Sorry for that break. We're back with you again. Passing lakes.
So Avery's going to take a little break, so I'll take it up here for a few minutes until he returns. So right now we have a 3-man breakaway, and leading the pack on the 2 Anguillas, we have Delroy and Darren, and followed by the St. Martin cyclist in green, taking up the rear. I believe this is the last lap, so we should see some attacks between here and the finish line. Just ahead of us we have the 2 cyclists with Sharpman and another St. Martin cyclist. Unfortunately for them, the gap still remains the same. They've been passing each other at the same point for the last 3 laps. So I do not believe they will be in contention for the top 3 places. So right now Delroy is doing the groundwork, followed by the St. Martin cyclist. And then we have Darren taking up the rear. Let's see if anybody's going to hit an attack between here and Proctor. As Avery would have said, the wind is about 17 knots, so not too hard. But the sun is a bit hot, so that is going to wear on them a bit. Right now they're doing just about 30 kilometers headed into the wind. Just passing Mary's Bakery, heading up to John Proctor. And the start finish line will be at the Tropical Flower parking lot. So they will be finishing on the way up, because they would have started east, so the lap is going to finish on the way up. So they won't have to go to the roundabout and turn around again. If they stay together, we should see a sprint to the final. But we may have an attack and somebody may be able to break away before that happens. So we just have to wait and see. But either way, it should be quite an exciting finish. So.
Okay, thank you very much, Hazel. Of course, this race has been, well, it's an event that is sponsored by the Angola Amateur Cycling Association, and the commentary is brought to you today by Mr. Von Hazel and yours truly, Carl Thomas. Special thanks to Mr. Carter. He's been driving a little moke. He's keeping us safe, he's keeping us right up where the cameraman can actually give you all of the pics, and we can actually see all of the action and describe it to you as we see it. Approaching the counter, another headwind for another time. How much more times we have to do this? I have no count. Passing Angeles Satellite Office, heading 090 eastbound back to the fountain. Yes, folks, I was telling you that the valley, a lot of people probably forgot cyclists that came out of the valley, but we had Lotson Richardson, we had Shan. Like I said, I don't remember his biological name, but we call him Shan. Both of them resides in the valley. Of course, we forget our own Patrick Niles. Still think he's a cyclist, but we call him an old dead. His brother Arvin Niles actually competed in a regional event in Jamaica some years ago. So the valley produced some cyclists. I can recall Shelly's brother, Shelly's uncle Nicky. He actually was very good on the BMX back in the day. And folks, we only think about road bikes when we talk about cycling. But the UCI has different categories. You have the road bike, which is the race that we are actually bringing to you live now. UCI also have mountain bike, they have BMX, so there's a lot of different categories when it comes to cycling racing, and one can actually start on a BMX and actually turn pro. So kids who enjoy cycling, you don't necessarily have to be on a road bike to start. I can remember many years ago when the UCI held a BMX cycling championships down in Colombia, South America. Those of you who are as old as me can remember cyclists. Of course, he went on to be pro. His name was Santiago Botero, and he won the BMX championship back then. And it was then when he was spotted and he was taken to Europe and he turned pro. And again, those of us from the Lance Armstrong era, we would know how dangerous Santiago Botero was. So it's not only a road bike, you can start on anything and you can make your way up to the top. There's a future in cycling, something that we've always overlooked. We have to continue to support our two cyclists that are out there. Of course, we know where Zambeze is. He's up in Italy trying to make his mark, and we're seeing the damage that Hassan Hennis is doing. Champion down in Morbay today, 320 kilometers, 3-day stage race, and an Anguillian won it. I think he made us proud today. Going on to the village of Broyne Point. Of course, we can never forget the likes of Ronnie, a guy who had a very big heart, very, very big heart. Ronnie Bryan, we remember his brother Charles Bryan, to me was just strong. He reminded me a lot of James Richardson, very, very strong. Of course, we have to make mention of a guy like Matthew, not a winner, but a competitor. Of course, his brother Gamble that is still riding today. Again, not a winner, but a competitor. And there goes Lake from St. Martin. Why is he doing this? I do not know. Folks, there's an attack. Lake have accelerated. Lake have accelerated, but I think he has just made a huge mistake. Followed by Darren, followed by Delroy. And Darren is calling Delroy. I think they're gonna eat his supper raw tonight. Lake, when you are riding alone and you don't have any team members, you don't make that mistake. No doubt he's young, no doubt he will learn. But in my estimation, that was an error. Now it's snail's pace. I need to verify how much more we have to go. I am not certain. Here's Law, are we going to finish now?
Definitely.
Okay, so we go up and we finish. Okay, folks, it was just confirmed by Hazel that this is the finish. But Lake, I can tell you, you made a big mistake. What you should have done is kept the momentum rolling, hang with the guys, and no doubt it would have been a lot better for you. But I think Delroy is going to go, or maybe Darren is going to lead up Delroy, and Lake, they are going to destroy you on that sprint. Folks, I was just told we are coming to finish. It's the 3rd Anguilla Amateur Cycling Association one-day cycling classics. Folks, it's on the street in Anguilla. Come out and enjoy an exciting afternoon of cycling. But I can tell you, it's the elite. We're coming to an end. It's Lake from St. Martin, Darren from Anguilla, and Delroy from Anguilla. 1 kilometer to go, and they can see the mark. Folks, it's going to be exciting. This is going to come down to a 3-man sprint. This is going to be a 3-man sprint. This is going to be a 3-man sprint. Folks, this is going to be exciting. Who is going to be the winner? Time will tell, but I suspect it's going to be Delroy. And folks, they're accelerating. They are accelerating, and Delroy goes, followed by Lake of St. Martin. Folks, this is exciting. We are coming to the finish, and Delroy has it. Delroy has it. Delroy has it, followed by Lake of St. Martin. Followed by Lake of St. Martin. Oh, folks. No. So I am oh my. So Lake actually won the race. Folks, I think it was bad calculation on Delroy. If that is when he tried to accelerate, from what I was seeing, I thought that Delroy was allowing Darren to go. But no doubt it's a good race, and I can tell you the winner is Lake from St. Martin, followed by Delroy of Anguilla and Darren.
Right.
Folks, that's the results. Oh, wait. That's the results.
Oh, shit. Oh, bro.
That's the results, and we're going to take a break, and we are going to bring you commentary from the next event.
novice here right about now. And we get ready for our Masters A and Masters B category right about now, and also a novice. So all Masters A and Masters B, please find a way to the side.
Where you come to my cameraman?
All Masters A and Masters B. And also our novice category. This is the big race. This is the bragging race going on right now. Patrick, Alan, Gamble, Bosses, Josh. I want to come. Next race is going on. Okay.
Hey, cool.
Say again? Nano? So Josh Bosses, Nano? Or we will record it, we will stream it. Nano said he gonna make sure, but you want this book now. Y'all Nano said you want this book. All Masters A, Masters B. Okay. I'm gonna get ready to do roll call right now. Wayne Beard in the Masters A category. Dwayne Beard. All Masters A, Masters B, cyclists your acts of doing roll call and novice. Masters A, Masters B, and novice, your acts will be on the start finish line. Right about now. Masters A, Masters B, I'm doing roll call right about now. Dwayne Beard, raise your hand. Benjamin Phillip, aka Dongo, raise your hand, got you. Allendale Sylvester, present. Roland Hodge. Roland Hodge, Jason? Yeah, okay. Andre Hughes, present. Claudio Ellis, present. Cuts Lloyd. Cuts. Coming in now, okay. Alex Adams. Alex Adams, here. Romeo Lake. Gotcha. Alright, at this point, all the persons who have called, I want you guys to roll forward to the line. If I haven't called your name, please go back. I want a bike length between you and the others. So all persons who I just called, that's the Masters A category, please roll forward to the line. Alright, so that's Masters A.
This one? Second? Oh, this one? Which one could go forward?
Okay, so
A little bit, yeah.
start off with Masters B now. Roberto Livingstone. Yeah. John Shalray. Gotcha. Patrick Niles. Okay, make sure you got a space between you and the other group, okay? I want you guys to get mixed up. I got Yuka Gums. Yuka. Alright. John Carty. George Carty. Albert Connor. Alvarez Fredrickson.
You want that, you know?
Huh? Why you ever say you want to continue?
So that's our Masters B category. Alright, the novice category, please roll back. Roll back. And we start with Carden Fleming.
For the answer,
Back, got you.
are they uncomfortable, right?
Zuri Weeks.
They stand up all the time.
Weeks,
Yeah.
Boots. Okay, huh? Wilkes. Now we pick it tonight. Small. I want some looks. Edel Jensen.
How you good with it?
Edel.
Hey, Thomas.
Gotcha.
There's something else.
Carbon Proctor. Nicholas Carbon. Aaron Hodge. Yeah. And last, Owen Reed. Gotcha. Alright. So, just gonna go over the rules real quick. Make sure you guys understand what we're doing here this afternoon for the category that you're right in. So, for Masters A and B, you guys are gonna be doing 4 laps. Start finish line up to the side of the hill runabout, back down to the valley runabout, and back up lap 1. Do that 4 times. For novice, you're gonna do that 3 times. Okay? So, Masters A, B, 4. Novice, you guys got it for 3. Okay? We're also gonna have a 3 lap for the Masters category. Okay, that will be on the ending of the beginning of the second lap. All time.
No, I good, man.
So the finish of the end of every lap is end east. Please stay on the left-hand side of the road to go through your traffic. Like I mentioned before, we have some major junctions, the stoplight, and the John intersection.
See where I go.
Are you guys ready? On your mark.
Wait.
Just hit the shot. Easy.
Go. Okay, folks, good afternoon again. This is the second event. Angular Amateur Cycling Association. Cycling Association 1-day classic race. This is a very big field with 3 categories. It's a very big field, my folks, very big field. We have Masters Category A, Masters Category B, and the Novice. This is a very big field. Yeah. The Masters are going to be doing 4 laps. That's the Masters Category A, 4 laps, Category B, 4 laps, and the Novice is going to be doing 3 laps. Folks, this is going to be very exciting. There's a lot of if I can call them ex-pros for the lack of a better word, in this field. It's going to be exciting. There's a lot of trash talking. There's a lot of discussion. Every single day, there's a lot of trash talking, a lot of discussion. Let's see who is going to emerge victorious from the A category, the B category, and from the novice category. Already we see 1 or 2 persons that are getting bussed off. We see Kurtz is in the back. He's actually trying to get a lifeline from Gamble. We know Albert Carter, one of the elder cyclists I spoke about earlier. We have to give him credit because he is still riding. Albert has been riding for probably over 40 years and he is still riding, folks. So we've already went down to the roundabout. Now we are heading back west. Of course, they're going to get the same advantage of the tailwind that the elite would have gotten. We are passing the gas station in the east. We're back to the start finish line. Folks, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. It's a large and appreciative crowd. The peloton is big. I told you guys earlier that cycling is the world's most spectacular sport. Look at the color. We haven't seen any action as yet, but we've already seen drama. This is exciting, folks. Reminds me of a little John T. So the peloton is basically together. Gamble is off by himself. I'm wondering why Gamble is in the back when these guys are actually doing about 20 kilometers. It can be that Gamble engine have gone out and his engine room is quiet. I don't think that's the reason. But Gamble must know why he's in the back. But the peloton is together. Folks, it's a mix of the Masters A, the Masters B, and the Novice. So it's hard to differentiate again because they don't have numbers. But most of the guys we know by name. The St. Martin guys are going to be at a disadvantage again because they don't have numbers. So we cannot, do justice to them in terms of identifying who they are. But I can safely tell you it's Masters A, Masters B, and the Novice. The peloton looks very good. The race is led by the Royal Angola Police Force. We have to, say thanks to them for the support over the years. Because without coverage from the police forces can be very chaotic on the streets, and we know the way the motorists drive without due care and attention. But it's a large field, folks. They're taking up most of the road. Well, Gamble is coming back. He is going to rejoin. And Courts is in there. I can see Jason. I'm wondering why Little Reed is to the back. But in the morning time, when we have our normal, weekly ride, these are the guys who are up front hitting shots. But today they have company. They have friends. Well, Jason is out. Jason is out. Jason have a technical. Jason have a technical, and he's upset with himself, and understandably so. Jason has a technical. Will he get assistance and rejoin? That is left to be seen. But folks, our own Jason Hodge is out. Of course, we know Jason, former custom officer. He works at the port now. Very good basketballer, national basketballer. He did have a stint with one of those universities in the States some years ago. But he's back on island now. He works with the Angola Port Authority, and this is what he enjoys, cycling. But he's upset because the race has not even started as yet, and Jason is out. But folks, we rejoin you again. Of course, you can see the field. Beautiful with all of the colors. Gamble still cannot rejoin. I'm wondering what is Gamble thinking. But the race have just started. There's no real action, and Gamble cannot join the field. I don't know what's going through his mind. But Gamble, if I were you, I would get embedded in that field, because when action starts, it's going to be a lot of worries. So we are passing what used to be the Super Cinema, one of Angola first theaters, and then we're approaching Nick again. Oh boy, Nick, calling your name a lot today. And his mother Nicola, thanks for all of the support. No doubt this group will get the same support that the elites would have gotten. That's the way we do it in Angola. We come out, we support our cyclists, we cheer them on, because we know this is not an easy sport. Well, Gambling is struggling. I can see the gears that he's turning. He's turning a very hard gear, which is not going to do any justice to him. But he must know why he's turning that gear. But he needs to find a gear that can give him more efficiency. I don't know what his gear ratios are, but he's on his big plate, and boy, he's all the way down in the back. So I don't know if he have a 12 or 11 or whatever back there, but that game might be too hard, Gamble. The peloton is going very slow. Very slow. And Gamble, oh, there's an attack up front. There's an attack up front. Folks, the action have started. The action have started. Looks like it's led by Danga. Is that Danga up front? Well, we have just passed the Angeles satellite station, and we are passing the medical center corner. Guys negotiated the corner very well, and the race is led by Danga. Danga, we all know Danga from the sleepy fishing village of Island Harbor. It's Danga. And no doubt if Danga was to be victorious today, oh boy, we won't hear the ends of that. We know the way Danga stays. We know all of the trash talking, so it's going to be exciting. I think there's more excitement coming out of this than out of the elite race, based on all that has been said leading up to this. But folks, let me remind you, there are some dangerous cyclists in that peloton. I can tell you of a guy called George Carty. We call him the Elastic. And those of you who follow cycling, we all know when a guy gets stretched out from a peloton, and you know, we refer to that as Elastic too. And I think that's where he get the name from, because when you think he's out, then he rolls himself right back in. So I think that's where the name Elastic come from, and you'll hear that term used a lot by the cycling professional commentators and the likes of Phil Lickett and Paul Schumann. Those are terms that those guys would use, so no doubt that's where Elastic got that name from. But back in his day, very dangerous. Came from a team called the Tigers, which was one of St. Martin's most successful, if I can use that word, cycling teams. George Carty, his brother Keith Carty, Timothy Richardson, of course we know the dangerous Marsleys. We all know Jean Benjamin that has passed on. Dangerous guys. Dangerous guys. You go to a race and you see the Tigers in that race, you can may as well count it out for you. Just ride to enjoy the race. But in terms of a podium finish, your chances were slim when the Tigers were there. So we are down in the valley again at a roundabout. We're going to negotiate the roundabout. I hope everyone can get around that roundabout safe. And yes, they did. And our driver is around the roundabout safe. And our cameraman is also safe. Folks, the peloton is together and Gamble cannot catch back. Gamble looks like he will not rejoin this peloton again. So in that peloton, like I said, you have George, dangerous cyclist in his day. You also have the likes of Mime. Again, we know Mime in his prime, nothing easy to deal with. And these are guys that can roll on the flat. There are no hills today. These are guys that can pace. When they put their head down, they will pace. So we know who we have. Of course, we have our own Patrick Niles. Of course, one of our morning cyclists. Of course, Patrick can hold his own. One of the highlights of Patrick's cycling career, I could remember him in a triathlon in St. Thomas. Of course, you'd say why I use the word triathlon, but triathlon does involve an element of cycling. And I think he rode against some real good cyclists down there. Don't think he had any regional meets apart from that one. Oh, Belly is out. Belly is out. What is going on today with the Anguillians and these technicals? Belly is out. So 2 Anguillians are out. No doubt the St. Martin guys are probably saying, yep, it's easier for us. So we've lost Jason Hodge, and now we've lost, well, we call him Belly. Don't remember his biological name. But those of us in the cycling arena, we will know who Belly is. And of course we have Coach Lloyd, the custom officer. Oh boy. Coach have lost a lot of weight, and he is throwing water over his body as if he's on fire. There is an attack. There's acceleration from Danga up front. I think this is what's going to separate the main peloton now. Danga is gone. Can't see around the bend, but I'll be able to report to you in a bit. Yep, Danga is gone. And there's a lot of red shirts. Again, we don't have numbers, so it's hard to actually tell who's who, but I can tell you Danga has tore up the ants nest just now. Danga has tore up the ants nest just now, and no doubt this is going to be problems. There's a lot of St. Martin guys that is chasing. Kurtz is up there. Kurtz is up there. The entire field is still together. Folks, this is going to be exciting. This is going to be exciting. Okay, so they were, they managed to pull Danga back. So in that group we have John. We know how John's staying. John, I think you're gonna have to represent today, because if Danga and those guys beat you today, I think it's gonna be a whole week of talk. And oh boy, Smurf, we know where you stay. So you two have a job to do. It's pressure on the Anguillians, folks. The Anguillians are trying to be the St. Martiners, which they have all rights to do, but then there's a lot of infighting. Because you have the likes of Allen, you have the likes of Smurf, John, Danga, and it's a daily feud that is going on. It's almost like a family affair. But it's all good in the interest of the sport, and this is how we elevate each other. You know, we gel together very good when we attacking each other in the sport of cycling, but it's all in the interest of the sport. So all of these guys, they have to represent today. And oops, I forget Alex Adams. It's very good to see him out there today. Lil Reed is there too. So Anguilla has a very good showing here. I forgot Carbon. Carbon is there. But there's another cyclist from St. Martin, I don't recall his name, but he rode with VCG back in the day. And those of you who remember VCG, they had a lot of talented cyclists. I think he's Spanish by origin, but no doubt in the master category now, because we've all moved on in years. And this is pure bragging rights now, folks. None of them have the ambition to ride at any regional meets, more or less international meets. So this is all for health and bragging rights. It's not the elite category, folks. This is the Masters A, Masters B, and the novice category. In the second annual John T. Anguilla Amateur Cycling Association road race. 4 laps for the Masters A and Masters B, and the novice is doing 3. So we are heading back to the fountain. Peloton looks good, it's very big. And with the prevailing conditions, I think if one was to embed himself in the group, I think he has a very strong chance of surviving. It's hard for a lone cyclist to break and survive in 17 knots of wind. And of course, I believe there are higher gusts. So it's going to be very difficult to see a lone break. You might see a lone break just before the finish, but during the 4 laps, this is what we anticipate. It will be a group for most of the course. Who's going to emerge victorious out of the A and B and the novice, we don't know. And like I said, it's hard to differentiate who are novice, who are A, and who are B, but we're going to call it as we see it. Peloton is looking good. They're still together. Heading back in the fountain now. And then we're going to cross back by the start-finish line, pass the veterinary clinic, reverse course, and that will be 1 lap. So we're going to do that 4 times, folks.
A little boy put the rocks in the road.
So we've seen Jason Hodge with a technical, so he's out. Very upset, and understandably so. We've seen Belly, he's also out. And no doubt Jason and Belly would have wanted to be there to actually, get on the podium for whatever category they're in. So in the Masters A, we have Dwayne Beard. Of course, we all call him Smuff. We have Benjamin Phillip, the man himself, Dunga. We have Alan Sylvester. We have Ronald Hodge. Of course, he's out, which is Jason. Andre Hughes, I suspect that is Belly. We have Claudio Ellis, he's from St. Martin. We don't have a number. We have Coach Lloyd. We know him, the big man himself. We have Alex Adams. Of course, I'll tell you a little bit about Alex Adams. He was one of the Leeward Islands' most prolific batsmen. I can remember him very well one year when the Leewards played against Sri Lanka down in Guyana. And he was facing guys like Pushpa Kamaru and those guys, and he did stand up to them. But for one reason or the other, he just decided to, put cricket on the back burner. No doubt he had the ability to go on to the next level. So that's the man Alex Adams for you. Of course, we know his kids, they all play cricket and are doing very well. And we have the man Romeo Lake. That's the motor who all the Anguillians are trying to destroy today. They call him Mime, again from a very strong cycling family. I can recall Mime's mother, she was a coach. And she had this thing about her when she trained the guys. She used to tell them, look at the white line. And the white line I'm referring to is either the center line or the line at the edge of the road. Use that as a reference, concentrate and pace. Now here's a lady before technology. before any TV, before any social media, training her guys in a particular way. I think she had a vision. So that's the school that Mime came from. That's the Masters A, folks. And the Masters B, we have Roberto Livingston from St. Martin. And folks, Courts has attack. In the Masters A category, Courts have attack. Is that a smart move? Time will tell. Why have Courts attack? My word, in all of my cycling history, that is not a good move. But folks, we are going to report it as we see it. From the Masters A category, Courts have attacked. Is this his death sentence? We don't know. But something have tell Courts to attack, and let's see how far he can carry that. So in the Masters B, folks, we have Roberta Livingston, he's from St. Martin. We have our own John Challery. We have Patrick Niles. We have Euclid Gums. We have John Carty from St. Martin. We have George Carty, of course, that's the man Elastic. We have Alvarez Frederick from St. Martin and Albert Connor. Albert Connor is also known as Gamble Folk, but we haven't seen Gamble since the race start. He never got into his own. He never joined the peloton. So for some reason, Gamble seems as if he was at a completely different frequency. So we just brought to you both Masters A and Masters B. I don't have a list of who are riding in the novice, so I do apologize. But we just break down the Masters A and the Masters B for you. Those who are left out are the novice. So it looks like they have pulled Courts back in, which is in Courts' best interest. Because I don't see how Courts is going to be able to ride off from this peloton and expect that they are not going to pull him back. Now that was a very brave move. But Courts, I think you should take my advice and to just sit and ride, embed yourself in the group and let them take you. So we are passing the start finish line. That's the first lap that we have done. We got to do this 3 more times. Courts have gone again. Folks, Courts have gone again. Courts have launched another attack again. My word, what is going on? And Mime is countering. Mime is countering. Folks, this is getting excited. If you are in your homes, we are bringing it to you. If you're coming, we urge you to come. Come and experience the action, the drama, and the color of the world's most spectacular sport. Folks, it's cycling action. The Angola Amateur Cycling Association 3rd event of the year. Come out, folks. Come and see this colorful event. So Court have been subdued. Mime have countered and pulled him back in. Now Court should know his place. Out of all people, Courts Lloyd, the custom officer, he works with Her Majesty's Customs in Angola, should know his place. There's a time to attack and there's a time not to attack. There's a place to attack and there's a place not to attack. Court is going again. And Court is going again. My, Courts is going again. Why is Courts doing this? Only the heavens knows. But there are a lot more better cyclists in that peloton and stronger. And I don't know what Courts is on, but who is talking to him? I'm not certain if he has a coach. But if he has a coach, then I think his coach is probably giving him bad advice. But his control, again, the race is controlled by Danga. Of course, we know the man Danga that, you know, we know where he came from. I did explain to you he came from the sleeping. Mime is gone. Mime is gone, folks. Folks, this is action. Folks, this is action. How long can he carry it? Only the heaven knows. Mime is gone. I think the police vehicle is going to have to accelerate. Mime is digging deep in his tank and he's gone. Folks, I told you all that Mime is a dangerous cyclist on the flat. When Mime gets going, it's very, very hard to control him. Very dangerous on the flat, very strong. So let's see how long Mime can carry it. Well, it looks like they have pulled him back. But folks, this is full of action. This is full of drama. The color is just something else. Folks, cycling at its best in Angola. You think the elite races had action? Check this category. This category is full of action. Folks, this is cycling at its best. The peloton is still together. They were able to pull Mime back in because they're saying, hey, where are you going? In order to check out, you have to check with us. So give credit to the peloton. Every attack, someone is countering and they're working to pull them back in. Folks, this is the way cycling ought to be. So we are passing what we used to call the Super Cinema. We're heading back down. And let me remind you, it's not an easy day for the cyclists. It's not an easy day because the temperature, like I told you earlier, it's very hot. And they have to be taking on a lot of bottled fluids in order to stay hydrated. As you can see now, the pace is going a bit slow. We can see is that Corvette Proctor, he's replenishing, and no doubt they're going to do that for a couple more times. 27 degrees Celsius. For those of you who like it in Fahrenheit, that's 81 degrees Fahrenheit. If I can even get more technical for you, just to give you a sense of what the weather conditions are, relative humidity about 75%. The winds are from the east at 17 knots. But the most important thing in all of those figures that I just gave you is the temperature. It's 27 degrees, folks. That's hot. The streets are black. There are no clouds in the sky, so there's no cover. So you can imagine what these guys are riding through and the type of bottled fluids that they have to be taking on every so often to keep hydrated. And you have to hydrate before you get thirsty, because if you take the fluids on when you get thirsty, you are already damaged. So you have to take it on before, and that is how a cyclist, keeps hydrated. The muscles get their fluid, less chances of the lactic acid and all of those biological names to build up and get the muscles tired, no oxygen moving, and you get cramps and that sort of stuff. So you have to be intaking fluid constantly. And of course, there are the gels that we use. When I used to ride, of course, the guys laugh. At one point, I told them I was number 5 on the island, and I used to ride with peanut butter or jelly and sliced bread that used to be in my back pocket. And folks, because carbohydrates to the body is like fuel to a race car, so you need to have that constant intake of carbohydrates in whatever form you choose, and you have that intake of liquid. Some guys ride with a little bit of salt in the water, because as you ride, the body is expelling salt. So you need that constant intake. Some guys use Gatorade, some guys use natural water. But with modern technology, and we all know what's out there, as long as it's all legal, we know what the UCI says is legal and not legal. So we all understand that. As long as it's a legal intake, guys, go for it. There's no one particular substance, in my view, that is stronger than the other unless it's some banned substance. So the guys are going to take in whatever they need, and we can see Courts now. He have been drinking water. My word, I don't know if he has a Camelback on, but if he's carrying 2 water bottles, those bottles have to be empty, and I haven't seen no one replenishing them as yet. But if Courts were to be smart, I think he would get someone to get him 2 full water bottles and sit in the peloton and behave himself, because every acceleration is taking energy away from him. Folks, you're not really missing nothing. We're back in the valley again. We're passing the Central Polyclinic. We are going around the roundabout. I just want the guys to navigate it correctly so there are no incidents. And we're going to navigate it also. We must give special thanks to our driver, Vaughn. He's doing a terrific job. Terrific job. So every time we navigate a roundabout, I have to thank him. So the peloton is going up again, not missing no real action. Albina Lake Arch Comprehensive School, we are passing there again. I think it's the Edison Hughes Public Library. We all know that library. That's where we all studied when we were back in high school, back in the 80s. Of course, it's the lone high school on the island, and that's the only high school that we would have known. So we are back with you. So the peloton is approaching Salt gas station, which we all know as Lakes gas station, and Courts is at the rear end of the peloton. Folks, this is what I speak about when I speak about decision making in cycling. You don't go out there and spend all that you have, because there will be a point in time when you will need and you don't have. Courts have spent a whole lot of energy, and it appears as if the lights are going to go out in his engine room. But what might save him is the peloton has slowed. So we're doing about 10 kilometers. Oh my, this is a snail's pace. This is giving a lot of guys that were in the red a chance to recover. And we know Patrick, he don't like this type of, and I call it like a Sunday school ride. So Patrick is going to the front now. Patrick is accelerating because this is getting disgraceful. Look at the pace that these guys are riding at. They're giving Kurtz a life. They're giving all of the guys that have been out a life. And come on, guys. Somebody needs to take control of this sport now and accelerate it. The peloton is together, which is, like I said, beautiful. With all of the colors. So we can enjoy the color when they are together. But I think we all want action, because that is what cycling is all about. We want to see the drama. We need some drama, folks. In order to make it more spectacular, guys, we need action and we need drama. We are passing Proctors again. We are passing Proctors. I just hope that they can navigate the corner very safely. Very safely. It's good. They all navigate that corner. We are going around the St. James Medical School of Medicine again. Guys, just be careful. And guess who is leading the peloton? Our own Zuri, the cameraman. Zuri have take charge, folks. You listen at home, all of those pictures that you see on social media for all of those weddings and parties is Zuri Wilkinson, my folks. Zuri has take charge. The race is going so slow, and Zuri said, I will have no part of this. So Zuri is taking charge of the growing operation, and he's followed by Mimi. Romeo Lake from St. Martin, Mimi. But I am still waiting to see someone that's going to take real control over this race. Right now, the weaker ones are embedded in the peloton because it is so big, and they're just drafting, and everyone is slipstream. We all know John, a professional sucker by trade, and John is just not moving. John is just not moving. John is a very strong cyclist. He thinks that he's a sprinter. Why he has not made a move, I really don't know. We all know Alan. Alan is a man who used to have a lot of those challenges that he and his old buddy Desron up in. Hi Desron, saying hello to our buddy Desron up in Bridgetown, Barbados. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday, you and your family. So your friend Alan is in the race, and he have done nothing, Desron. Alan is in the race. Situation awareness again. He's right next to Kurtz. I hope the cameraman is giving you a good shot. He have done nothing to help himself. So he's just sitting behind a little wheel, just bearing up himself in the peloton, looking cover. But on the Monday morning Desron, he's out there firing shots. So we understand. We know Alan understands about intervals. Oh, stops. Oh, there's an accident. There's an accident. Okay, he's up again. He's up. He's safe. He's safe. He's good. I think his chain is off. Somebody might have to give him a push. Okay, yeah, folks. One of the guys fall off the bike just now. It was a mysterious fall. Don't know how it happened.
I think he got bruised when he died, you know.
Don't know if he clipped someone else's wheel. But that was a freak fall just now. But the good thing about it is that the youngster is safe. And it was a bit concerning for me just now, but he's back on his bike. I was hoping that someone could have given him a push, which is all legal, and pushed him back where he could have gotten back into the peloton. But no doubt he will catch back again, because this is nothing else but a Sunday school walk. This peloton is nothing else but a Sunday school walk. I think he's going to come on our left car, so you might want to look out for him. Okay, Junior's there. Yeah, but let's allow him to pass, because that's all legal. He actually fell, so he can come back. The UCI rules allow that, so that's okay, as long as we're not actually... Yeah, he's good. Okay, the youngster that fell off the bike, he's back again. Folks, we must give him credit. We must give him credit. He took a fall. He assessed the situation as quick as he could. He got back on his bike, and he timed the trial back, and he's almost back with the peloton. So good youngster, very good work. We're glad that you're safe. He took a little bruise, but this is the things that come with this sport that we call cycling. Most important, he's not hurt, he's not damaged, and we give a lot of thanks to the man aboard for that. It's a very dangerous sport. We all know the risk that comes with it, but like in everything else, we do our best to mitigate against all of the risk. We put on our safety gear, the required clothing, and then we ride a particular way so that we don't hit each other's wheel. So there's a lot of safety bits that one has to know when he's a cyclist. But again, like I said, it's most important that there are no damage. The peloton is together. All looks fine. All looks fine. We're doing very good. So we are approaching Charlie's again. We are approaching Charlie's water truck service. The peloton is together. Hazel, do we have a count of how much cyclists we have? Sorry. I would depend on my wingman, maybe Carter the driver, because he has probably better eyes than me, to give us a count on the peloton. But it's a very impressive field.
25, 30.
Well, Carter's saying about 25, 30. But it's a very impressive field. I seen our Anguillan Proctor on the Monday mornings and all through the week. These are the guys that are out there busting shots on you. They're attacking you left, right, and center. But on a Sunday morning, a Sunday afternoon, in an Anguilla Amateur Cycling Association sponsored event, 4-lap between roundabout to roundabout, this look like this is a body race. You know, I'm gonna call it the way how I see it. I mean, guys will get upset when they probably view this commentary, but that's okay. Now they've accelerated, folks. This is what cycling is. If we want to talk to our buddies, we go on a Sunday ride. We don't come in a race like this. This is what cycling is all about. Now me may have turned it up. Folks, this is what cycling is all about. This is what we talk about cycling. Folks, come up, witness the action, the color, the drama of the world's most spectacular sport. It's cycling, folks, on the streets of Anguilla. We're passing through the fountain. We're passing the start-finish line. Oh, what a beautiful sight. What a beautiful sight. Now, we've seen the elastic have stretched. The elastic have stretched. George is in trouble. George is in trouble. But like I told you, folks, don't trust this guy called George Lake. He is elastic himself. He has the ability to roll himself back in. And I'm going based on history. That's the man we call elastic. Let's see how much strength is in that elastic today. But the elastic is stretching. And let's see if he'll roll himself on the way back in. That car has to be very careful. Folks, we are going towards the Marlins Veterinary Clinic. And on a race like this, I don't think we should have any vehicles in it, because that is where the danger is. I have no issue with the motorbikes, but there should be no support vehicles. This is almost like a criterion, although it's not. But it's not the type of race where you should have vehicles in it, because there's so many factors. So many factors. And the vehicles only add to the risk that we already deal with. So we are going around the roundabout now. Just hope all the guys can navigate it safely. Okay, again, thanks to Carty. A wonderful job. Now we have Elastic. I hope he can navigate it and, you know, look out for the traffic. So we're climbing the hill again. We're climbing the hill again just prior to Marlins Veterinary Clinic. And Elastic, the guy George Carter should have a very good memory, because many years ago, George was in one of our local events in Anguilla, and he navigated the roundabout, that same roundabout, the wrong way, and collided with a vehicle, and he carries the scars up until today. So just a reminder to self, reminder to our group, to our cyclists, never cut a roundabout. Never cut a roundabout. If the race rules permits you to cut a roundabout, I still suggest you only cut it if there's a police or a traffic warden present. Don't do it on your own, because to date, George carried those scars. Folks, we're heading back now. Back down the fountain. Someone else is out again. There's another technical. I'm a bit confused as to what's going on. That's Mime. Mime is out. Mime is out, and he's changing bicycles. Mime is out. Yeah, that's legal. That's all perfectly legal. That's all legal. Mime changed bikes. He got assistance from some of his team on the ground, which is all legal. But Mime will roll back in. Mime will roll back in. Mime will roll back in. So Mime is out for now, folks. But I can safely tell you, you can look for Mime at some point in time again. Oh my, I think the lights are going out for John. The lights are going out for John. Seems as if John is in trouble. I don't think he has a technical, but he's looking on his wheel to make it look as if he has a technical. But John is in trouble. John is in trouble. Folks, this is our own John. This is our John. Our local cyclist John is in trouble. I'm a bit confused as to why John can get pop off from a race that is going at a snail's pace. Just over 30 kilometers, folks, and John is in trouble. So up front, there goes Scott. There goes Scott. There goes Scott, folks. This race is full of action. So let's see if John can actually ride his way back in. This is only 4 laps, and I'm seeing a lot of guys in trouble. I was anticipating that Mime would have come back in, folks, but Mime seems as if, you know, he just cannot roll back in. But just to report to you, there's a lone break and Kutz is gone. Yes, well, my wingman, Hazel, just reported to me he reckoned Kutz has about 100 meters on the group. Situation away in his Kutz. Folks, we're just passing the Anguilla coming to the college. There's a break with Kutz line. You know, Kutz work for the Her Majesty's Customs. He's a custom officer by trade, and he's out on the break. No doubt his custom colleagues have to be proud of his performance today. No doubt on the job tomorrow it will be talked from morning to lunch. But Kutz is gone, folks. How long can Kutz sustain that? The heaven knows, but Kutz is gone. So the peloton is still together. I don't anticipate any of the Anguilla guys will actually be of any assistance to the peloton because, like I said to you, the big man is gone. The big man is gone. I don't expect any work from the Anguillians, so the pressure's on the St. Martin folks to actually do all of the rotating because the Anguillians know that the big man is out. And they're going to do the right thing is to just sit down and, you know, just keep it upright and continue pedaling. But the big man is gone. The big man is gone, and he's extending to his lead. I can see Zuri up front, and Zuri is going slow, which is the way cycling ought to be. If your teammate is out front, there's no need for you to be actually pulling the peloton back. So this is a huge effort from the Anguillians. I can see support. Kutz is gone, folks. Kutz is gone. Yeah, we have a cyclist to our left on, so let him pass on the left. Folks, I can report to you today on the 2nd of April 2023 in the 3rd Anguilla Amateur Cycling Association Cycling Classic. On the 2nd of April, on a Sunday, Kutz Lloyd, an employee of Her Majesty's Customs, has gone. Kutz has attacked and he's ridden away from the peloton. Mime have joined back along with another St. Martin cyclist. I am not completely surprised knowing the caliber of Romeo Lake. Knowing the caliber of Romeo Lake, that was expected. And Romeo have rejoined the peloton and he did not ease. This is experience, folks. This is cycling at its best today. Romeo Lake, Akamime, realized that the big man from Anguilla is gone. No St. Martin cyclists have made any effort to actually roll it back in. The Anguillans are doing what they is expected to do, just stay upright and ride the bike. Once Mime rejoined the group, he kept the same momentum, folks. So Mime is the lone cyclist, of course, that is in front of the peloton that is chasing back Kutz. Knowing the caliber of Mime, they will catch back Kutz. But if Mime had, you know, when he caught back with the peloton, had he just, you know, sit and recover, Kutz would have continued to add. But I can tell you, folks, Mime is chasing, followed by Patrick, followed by Donga, followed by Zuri. Then we have a couple guys from St. Martin. Our Anguillians are there. We have Alex Adams. We have Little Reed, we got Proctor, we got the man himself, Smurf, we got Allen. The Anguillans are doing very well. They're holding their own. We have to give them credit. Folks, this is cycling at its best. What I don't want to see is a Sunday ride. I want to see a Sunday race. Folks, cycling is all about action. On my way to the Farrington a while ago, I was pretty much disappointed because it looked like it was a Sunday, ride going to Sunday school or something. But no, we do that during the week when we out there socializing. Today's we're racing. So Mime is chasing Kurtz. I think they're pulling him back in. Kurtz probably have about, Hazel, would you say about what, 200 meters? Okay, my wingman reckon about 60, 70 meters, and they will pull him back in. So if I was Kurtz, I would just raise up and allow them to catch me and save that energy. Because it makes no sense trying to expel all that energy when a peloton of that size is in chase. There's no way you can win. Unless you're Lance Armstrong, and we know what Lance did back in those days. But he's not a Lance Armstrong, he's Kurtz Lloyd, and I would suggest to him, if someone can get a message to him, a little note or something, I don't know if he have his phone on him, tell him to raise up and allow the peloton to pull him back. Because to fight against such a large amount of cyclists when you alone is going to go to your disadvantage. So we're passing the Edison Hughes Public Library again, Albina Lake Arts Comprehensive School, the Central Polyclinic, and the roundabout. So let's hope these guys can navigate this roundabout safely again. Kurtz is in front, folks, and you can see the game face on. My word, in all of my cycling, I have never seen a game face like that. Folks, Kurtz is out for business. I think Kurtz is hoping that he can sustain that lead and he can keep the peloton off. But he has his game face on. Kurtz is a very serious guy today. I don't know what was told to him in the race, before the race. But folks, he has his game face on. So here we are. We're approaching Saul again, Lakes gas station. Lone St. Martin cyclist is in trouble. I can see by the gears that he's turning and by his motion that his lights are out. It has gone dark in his engine room. It's completely quiet down there, and that's it for him. So he's out. Unless the peloton was to actually slow up again, I don't see how he will catch back. But if he was to ever catch back, it shows you that these guys are doing nothing. There is enough high caliber cyclists in this peloton to ride better than this. Now it appears as every time we are going towards the win, it's a social event. Every time we go towards the win, it's a social event. And that St. Martin rider that got busted, he's coming back. He's going to join the peloton, folks. So I'm bringing it to you live as I see it in your living rooms. So if you are home, you can view us live. We are bringing it to you live as it happened. We are commentating to you as we see it. There are folks that will get upset, but we call it as we see it, folks. This now has come to a snail's pace again. My word. Where are the coaches? It is Sunday afternoon. 20 kilometers, folks. 20 kilometers. Fellas that have ridden in our regional events while they have migrated to a different category on a Sunday afternoon in the 3rd Anglo Amateur Cycling Association race. 20 kilometers. We are passing John Proctor's, folks. We're going to hit the roundabout again, then we're going to hit the St. James School of Medicine, and they're all talking. Excuse me. They're all talking. It reminds me of when we get close to a feed zone, where all of the cyclists are feeding, but there's no food. Nobody is being fed. But they're talking as if it's a social event. I'm a bit confused. The big man is back. He's replenishing, so no doubt that he is going to launch an attack again. And no doubt cut. No doubt cut. And we have Hodge. Hodge is up front. I don't know what Hodge's intention is. But Hodge's supposed to be riding in the novice category. And why is he controlling? Why is he depicting the race speed for the masses A and B? Folks, I spoke to you earlier about a guy called James Richardson from George Hill. James lives in the United Kingdom now. He would be upset. He will never accept this type of riding. I told you about James, I told you about Evans, I told you about Elridge, Warrell, Chiney, Posse. How about Mansell? We call him Monty from South Hill. This type of riding is not the riding that we're accustomed to.
No.
This type of riding, folks, those guys would get upset because back in the day when we go to the race and that race started, when that race starts, we put our head down and it's bike from start to finish. There's no time to talk unless you have a technical or you're trying to give someone some sort of technical advice. But from what I'm seeing here today, every time we go east, now don't get me wrong, it's 17 knots, but it's a big group. So these guys ought to do a lot better, and I expect a lot better from them. But again, thanks to Nicole, wonderful job, along with Sonny King, splendid jobs. Those guys come out on their own. No one activates them. No one pushes them. But that's the Anguillian spirit. It's the support. Folks, we are approaching Super Cinema one more time. This race is controlled by the cameraman. Imagine a cameraman is controlling the race. Zuri Wilkinson, folks, is controlling this race today. And you can see the type of gears that Zuri is turning. I mean, back in our day, that would have been an attack. That's a signal for a laboring man. Somebody was going to launch an attack, and Zuri would be caught in no man's land based on the gear ratio that he's using. My word, we are not even doing 21 kilometers. And it's downhill. My driver reminds me that we're going downhill. You know, I would like to get into thinking of these cyclists. Donga have, you know, Donga Road regional events. You know, Donga has a road with a club called VCG. Folks, there's an attack. Hodge have attacked, but Hodge is a novice. Hodge have attacked. Hodge is depicting the race for the A and B category. In the A and B category. So Hodge is actually controlling the operation right now. Doesn't carry much body weight, so a lot can be expected of him and from him. Proctor, his wingman, is actually tightening up his shoes. I reckon these guys are going for the sprint now, right? I can see for the novice. Right, so the novice, this could be the second. Folks, we're losing count, but Carvel is replenishing something. He's taking on his body fluids and he's probably using his gels and everything. But I can see Donga just sitting down, and there's a French guy, I think his name is Tipole. He actually rode with VCG back in the day. Expect a lot more from him also. But I don't know if his actual condition, because he's just sitting and they're taking him. He is not initiating nothing. He's just going along for the ride. So I reckon he's in a Masters B. And I reckon his name is Alvarez Fredericks. So very good cyclist. Back in the day, he used to, you know, hold his own. But today he's just sitting in what Super D used to call the sofa seat. Expect a lot more from Patrick, knowing the caliber of rider that Patrick, you know, used to be, and he carries no body weight. I'm pretty sure if Patrick go on a scale, the scale probably, you know, it probably might read maybe 60 pounds or so. Carries no weight. So there's something that Patrick should be able to do, but just not sitting down. Because again, like I said, folks, when we are going east, it's at a snail's pace. It's at a snail's pace. Alex Adams, again, during the weekdays when we ride, you see the competitive nature from him. Again, this is not cricket, but what is the thinking in Smurf? We all know what Smurf does. and we all know Smurf's attitude, and we all will see the post from Smurf's folks. Mime is changing the bike again. Mime is changing. This is the time to hit Mime. This would be the time to hit him where it hurts. He has a technical again, and they should hit him. My folks, where are the thinking of these guys? This is the time to hit him. Where are the Anguillians? Well, there's okay, this is probably the Masters now going, the novice going to finish.
We can't go there.
Folks, we won't be able to give you coverage because it won't be that safe. But the novice is going for sprint, so we think our own Zuri is in there. Who else is there for us? We believe Carville is there, and we also believe we also believe that Hodge is there. So, like I said, we won't be able to go up there to give you coverage, but our little read is also there. So no doubt we're going to represent, I think that looks like Proctor, or that's Carbon. It looks like Carbon to me, and Zuri looked like he picked up a third. So folks, that's the end of the novice. That's the end of the novice. We are going to continue to give you coverage of this event that is been brought live, of the Masters A and Masters B now. So we continue. We continue. The organizers just say it's one more lap for the Masters. One more lap for the Masters. One more lap for the Mime is saying something to the cameraman, but Mime have to be very careful because the race is far from finish. Okay, okay, the novices are finished. So, folks, this is going to be all exciting now because it's all of the same category now. It's all one class. Well, actually, two different classes, Class A and Class B, but they all are doing the same distance. So, I expect fire and brimstone. We were just told that there's one more lap, which means this is the last time that we are coming east. So, we are going to go down by Marlene's Veterinary Clinic, navigate around the roundabout, and then I believe he probably was right in the Masters also. And then we're gonna reverse course. We're gonna head back down west, and the race is gonna finish upwind. So the sprint is gonna be with a win in their chest. Folks, this is the last time we are going to see the Sandy Hill roundabout. Folks, the Sandy Hill, was a pleasure being with you. Thanks for allowing you to be in your face with all of the noise today, but it's sport, it's cycling, most important, it's Anguilla. There's to remind you what happened in Mobay today, a 3-day stage race, 322 kilometers, and Anguilla's own Hassan Hennis destroyed the entire event, and he emerged the winner. So that's good for him. And in the GC, the general classifications, I think a lot of these points are probably UCI points. I believe that race is a UCI race. And again, we have to give Sharon Lowe Richardson credit. There have been many persons in Angola that have tried, many persons that have been part of associations, but Sharon was the only Anguillan to take us to the next level. And I'm going to challenge the present president to do his best and do not allow her work to go in vain. Build on what she created. Take us to the next level. Take us to at least a World B. Take us to some event that we can get more recognition. But in terms of Sharon's contribution, in terms of a placement where she have placed the Anguilla Cycling Association, the visibility that she have given us, the UCI recognition. Folks, there's an attack. Folks, Alan is gone. Desron, if you are in Barbados today, you have to be a proud man. Desron, if you are down at Oystons today, you have to be a proud man. Your friend is on the attack. Alan is gone. To give you some situation awareness, we are passing Best Buy East on the way down, and Allen is gone. Followed, I can't see who is the second cyclist behind Allen, but I can proudly report to you, Desron, that your body has attacked. I know you are proud today, Desron, but let's hope there's a lot of gas in that tank. Let's hope that those horses in that engine continue to keep beating, because it's going to be action on the way back up. So Desron, I can report to you, excuse me, that Allen has gone, followed by Donga. Now, I don't understand why Donga is following Allen, because from what I was made to understand, it was us against them, meaning Anguilla against St. Martin. But Donga is doing a little injustice here to your friend Alan Desron, because Alan has attacked, and here's what do you say, he has about what, 100, 200 meters on the peloton? Well, here's my wingman record is 50 meters, and Courts has spent all his money, but we have no supplements for him. We have nothing to give him. We have nothing to give him. So Courts have just given us a bottle of water. I don't know if he's lighting up or if he's expecting us to give him some sort of refreshments, but we can't, because the role that we are playing, we are just bringing you live coverage. Folks, we are in the fountain. We are heading back west. Allen is still the lone cyclist out front, but not by far, because they are actually pulling him back in. Might have been a bad move by Allen, but Courts is coming. Courts is digging deep. Courts is digging deep. I don't know what is in his engine room today, but he is digging deep. Allen, if I were you, I would kind of raise up and allow the peloton to come back on me, because it makes no sense kicking against the pricks. If they organize, they will catch you. No need, Allen, to stay up front. Desron, if you have any way of getting a message to your friend Allen, just advise him that one man against a group of 15 guys is not a smart move to do. He will pay the price after. He might be upset with me for this commentary, but those of you who know Carl Thomas can only say it as he see it. I am being fair. We are passing the Super Cinema. We are passing the Sassos. We are in the fountain. We are approaching Nick's again. Good afternoon to you, Nick. Boy, if you were here, but you're not, thanks to the support of Sonny King and Nicola. As always, no one calls on you guys, but you guys just spring into action. I've reported it. All of this is the Anguilla spirit. Now, why is Patrick still sitting down next to Alex Adams, and there's no sort of organization? So, folks, you have Patrick, you have Alex Adams, you have John, you have Fredericks, from St. Martin. You have my views a bit obstructed, so
I think this might be shut. They have an building out front, so I think they want to force to say Martin cyclists to do it together.
So if that is what it is, then Hazel, then that is cycling at its best in terms of thinking. But I hope it's a plan and it is not just an accident, because you know, Hazel, after this there will be a postmortem, and we will tell the guys what we saw. But Hazel said he thinks it's strategic. Now, Patrick is bringing up all sorts of things from his stomach. I don't know what that is, but it appears as if Patrick is in trouble. There was something big and white that came from Patrick's stomach just now. Patrick could be very well in trouble. If I was Patrick, I will intake some more fluids so that what just came out could be more of could look more liquid. But it's something heavy that came out, and we will have to investigate that later. Folks, I can report to you that Allen is still out front. Desron Bino over in Bridgetown, Barbados, the land of the flying fish. Your friend Allen is still out front. And we are passing Proctor's Supermarket again on the way back down to the valley. Why is Allen out front? I do not know. But that's your friend, and Patrick is wasting water on his legs. No doubt he's cramping. The lactic acid has to be building. Those legs have to be getting tight and tired. And maybe Patrick might need some salt intake because of the amount of salt that he's expelling from his body, and that is where we start to get cramps. Now, cramps can come from, the lack of salt, lack of liquid, or the level of speed is so high that the legs are not used to, that they just want to cramp up on you. We all know that. We all have been there. But folks, this is the last time that we are going west. We're passing Mary's Bakery, and I can report to you, Alex Adams have done nothing to help this race. He sat in the peloton all day long and did nothing. The same as John Challery. Now, John is living to his true name. John is a professional sucker, folks. And that is what John is doing, sucking the life out of everybody. John have not even lifted his finger to help one cyclist today. But he will coop you on the sprint and he will try to crack you. But John, it might be different today because you got Dunga to deal with, you got Smurf to deal with, you got Alex Adams to deal with. John is going to be different. You got Patrick to deal with, and you got Mimi and the St. Martin contingent to deal with. So I would suggest to you, John, that you and the Anguillians formulate a plan. Yes, Ron, Alan is still in front. Folks, this is the last time we're going to see the valley. We're passing through the sleepy upper valley for the last time. Thanks again to Carty for this safe drive. We navigated a roundabout for the last time, and it's the home stretch, folks. It's Sunday afternoon on the streets of Anguilla. It's the 3rd Anguilla Amateur Cycling Association event. It's the 2nd of April. 4 laps from the Sandy Hill roundabout to the Upper Valley roundabout, folks. We did this today in a temperature of 81 degrees Fahrenheit, folks. We haven't seen Kurtz. Kurtz was dropped and he never regained. Folks, we think Kurtz is probably out of the race. You see, that is what happened to you when you don't ride with your brain. Folks, Kurt launched several attacks today on the peloton. Never used his brain. Now you see the price? The price of the bottle, folks, they say is not the down payment, but the price that you pay when you get drunk. Kurt, you should have conserved, because that's what cycling is all about. You should have used your brain, because cycling is not only legs, it's brain. Now today where you are, very good position, but you're attacking, and now you're out. Folks, we are on the home stretch. 27 degrees Celsius, 81 degrees Fahrenheit, relative humidity of 74, no signs of rain, so there's no excuse. We're heading east in the eastern direction on the home stretch. 17 knots headwind. Here's Kurtz. I think it's out for Kurtz, folks. I think he's going to turn. I think his engine room has gone quiet. Maybe all of the pistons have come loose, connecting rods have gone loose. Maybe his engine is run out of oil, low oil pressure, engine cannot work. Folks, that's it for Kurt's line. The custom officer employed at Her Majesty's Customs have called it a day. He's out. So we're going to focus on what we have now, folks. Pretty good field still. Tell you the wind is 17 knots from the east. 17 knots are 20 miles per hour. We covered 4 laps, folks, between roundabout to roundabout. Special thanks to the police, special thanks to our cameraman, special thanks to Carty. Thank you for being in your homes and in your ears, bringing this coverage live as we see it. Okay, the race still led by Alan. I think Alan needs to get from that position in a conservative position, because today this race is going to be controlled by sprinters, and my money goes on Mimi, knowing the caliber of the man. Knowing Mimi, I'm sorry, folks, those of you in Anguilla who was expecting an Anguilla finish, I am going with Mimi, and then I'm going with Dunga. So Anguilla just might get a podium, but the way we are riding, I think now we should organize something and see who's who, because if I was in that group back when I was number 5, an attack would have gone. The field would have been split up. So by then, you would have known who are the weak ones and who are the strong ones. You attack. If they come, then you ease because you know that they're strong. You attack. If you see guys begin to split up, you keep the pressure on because you know there's no way they're coming back. And that is what should be happening here now. But this buddy, fronting riding, and the race is almost coming to an end, is going to go against even the weak ones, folks. There should be some sort of organization, some sort of discussion in order to get the weak ones out. Because remember, not every time the better cyclist wins the race, but it's the smartest cyclist. So under these conditions, I think the smartest cyclist is going to win, not necessarily the better one, because what we are doing, we are playing up with these cyclists today. And someone is going to sneak and someone is going to win. So guys, Alex Adams is spitting something white, a little bit heavier than what Patrick was spitting out. Folks, what's going on with the Anguillans today? Alex Adams spit something very, very white just now. I think these guys probably have something going on down in the engine room, but it's not a good sign. Now, one of the smartest cyclists is intaking fluid, which is very good. Well, John is intaking fluid too now, because it's going to come to a head sprint. It's going to come down to a sprint now, folks, because we are not too far. I would say about 1 kilometer from the finish. And international cycling, we know when we are 1 kilometer from the finish, what goes on, folks. Those of us, and Patrick continues to spit. Something is going wrong in Patrick's engine room. Folks, those of us who follow international cycling, we understand. We understand when we see that 1 kilometer to go, what time it is, folks. So the folks should be taking on some more fluids now, because they're gonna sprint upwind. So glad to be here. Glad to be in your rooms. Glad to be in your ears. Bringing to you the 3rd Angola Amateur Cycling Association road race. It was very exciting. I enjoyed every bit of it. And Hazel, I would appreciate if you can give me an invite again for the next event. I say I will appreciate if you can invite me again for the next event to assist you in the commentary.
No problem, man.
Because I think this
Let me ask
is...
you a question. If it's going to come down to a sprint, who you predicting will win?
Well, from the history, I predict that Mime is going to outsprint them.
My money is on John, though.
I will not give John 5 cents. I put my money on Mime. I think Patrick might stand a chance. So it's between Mime and Donga. Based on how these guys have ride, well, John should be able to do something because he did nothing in this race. John did nothing, Alex Adams did nothing, and all Patrick did was spitting something white from down in his engine room. Folks, we are passing teacher Donnie's residence. We all know her. Lovely teacher. We all loved her. Taught us very well at Valley Primary. She's passed on. We're passing her residence. The Anguilla Community College. Yep, that's the way it is from its original location in George Hill. Folks, we're passing Eklund, one of our supporters in the morning when we're doing our morning ride. She's always on the side of the street. Lovely lady. We all know her. And of course now it's cat and mouse. It's a cat and mouse game. Folks, this is cycling at its best now, because you can either expect separation coming to the finish or cat and mouse game. It's either or. What they're doing now is a cat and mouse game. Now the smartest cyclist is gonna win. There's no domestique here, so I don't expect anyone to be leading anyone out. I think it's gonna be a dead-on sprint, and I think the smartest man is gonna win. Back in my day, folks, those of you who know me, when I rose to number 5 position in Anguilla, you bring me in a position like this, there's no way you was jumping me, because once I smelled the finish line, that was it. That was it. But of course, we're dealing with cyclists from a different era. Patrick should know better because he's a man of, vast experience. So the most experience in this group is between Patrick and Mime, and then followed by Donga. But also the guy from St. Martin, I think his name is Fredericks. He used to ride with VCG. But the other guys are really inexperienced. And yes, Patrick, that's what I'm talking about. Patrick is gone. Patrick's going to lead somebody up. Patrick is gone. Might be a bit too early. Might be a bit too early, Patrick. But that's what I'm speaking about. Patrick have accelerated. Folks, this is a sprint. This is a sprint. Patrick Niles of Anguilla, followed by the man they call him Smurf. Patrick is gone, folks. If Patrick can continue to dig, then he will keep them off. Folks, Smokes have it. Folks, Smokes have it. Smokes have it, Smoke. Alan is in trouble. There's one. Alan need help. Alan need help. Smurf got it, folks. Smurf is gone. Patrick is gone again. John is going. Folks, this is excited.
John is good.
Folks, John got it.
John is good.
Folks, John got it. Oi, folks. Danga is the winner. Folks, what an exciting event. Folks, it all happened in Anguilla. It all happened in the Farrington. The third Anguilla Amateur Cycling Association event. It all happened in the Farrington, folks. Very hot temperature, very windy day, and folks, you see the results. Hazel, can we confirm that John won?
No, I think Danga won.
So Danga won, followed by who? Can we get official results?
Well, I don't know, were they all in the same category?
Probably, folks. That's it. We all did 4 laps, and we're gonna take a pause, and we're gonna come here again for the other event. Okay, folks, this is the last event of the day. We have the sports category with 5 competitors, and we have the caddy with 3 competitors. So each category is doing 2 laps, again between roundabout and roundabout. And just to let you know, we have a little girl that is in this race. Her name is Rolandina Lake Hodge, and she is 11 years old. Folks, this is going to be exciting. Okay, I'm getting assistance from the man himself from the sleepy fishing village of Sanderground, Darren Carter. Darren, what is your views, and how do you see this race playing out today?
Well, Avery, I know today is going to be an interesting matchup right here between these little ones. The caddy category 15-16, that would be. This little young lady here, I would like to see her catch Josh, for sure. She's a pretty good rider, but we don't have any female cyclists in Anguilla. So, just paging all appearance, it would be nice to see a bit more females out on the road, so that this little young lady here could have some competitors.
Well, if she keep getting the support from her friends and her peers and her family, you never know where she can make it, because there is a career in cycling.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
okay, so she just passed Josh, so...
Well, it appears as if Josh is on a Sunday ride, Darren. I don't understand if Josh has a technical or if he's just out of it.
But it seems like you have a technical, I don't know.
Yeah, if you look at the gear ratio, he's on his small ring, so something is technically wrong with him.
So guys, we're making our way right down now. They're on their 4th lap still. This is a young lady right here, Rolandia. She's from St. Martin.
Yep, and you can see her posture on the bike that she's out for business there. Just watch the way she's her posture on the bike. So looks like she's getting some good coach, because she has some good technique. Okay, we're approaching Teacher Donis's residence again. We are going down in the fountain, and we have caught up with the main field that comprises of the sports category. Now, Darren, out of this category, we have 4 Anguillians, and from the list that I was given, it looks like there's 1 guy from St. Martin, unless I'm stand to be corrected.
But in the caddy category, it's only 2 Anguillians, so it's Anguilla versus Anguilla in that category.
Okay, so it's Dimitri and Kamari.
Yeah. Dimitri and Kamari, yeah.
Okay, and in the sports category, I'm seeing Kieran Kintish, Lonnie Hobson, Jermaine Hodge, Jassim Richardson, which is Josh, and Malone Richardson.
Yeah.
Okay, so this will be the main field here now with the sports category, and 2 persons mix up from the caddies. Am I correct?
Yeah. I don't think there will be any breakaways in this group. Probably the caddies will leave the sport category, but I don't think there will be any breakaways. This race might finish just like this.
But why would you say that, Darren? You think that some caddies are stronger than the sportsmen?
Yeah, definitely the caddies might have a little more spice in the legs. But let's see.
But yeah, I would expect, I want to concur with Carter. I expect Hobson, because in the morning he shows some promise. So I'm open. I'm not gonna call it. I lost my money just now because John almost surprised me, so I'm gonna be open. I will call it when the man crossed the line. So folks, you're passing Nick again in the fountain. Again, thank them for all of the support. I think this is the last race of the day, so I think everybody will have had their belly full.
Yep, making our way down to the big store right now.
Yep, the mega store.
Pace is about 35.
About 35k, yeah.
About 35k, almost 40, maybe 40k.
But it's a very strong wind, Darren. When I reported earlier, I would have gotten a report of 17 knots, but it feels as if the wind is a bit stronger now. So I believe going west, they will have a good advantage.
Yeah.
So we are passing one of Anglet's satellite offices again, approaching the runabout next to St. James Medical School. There's teacher Gloria Omalulu School. Not a fast pace. This is what you would expect from a sports category.
Yeah, definitely.
And those of you who really enjoy cycling and who have this fear of racing, I mean, you have a bunch of businessmen here, professional men, and this is all for sport. There's no way these guys can make it to any local event that will actually give them a podium or regional or international, but this is all for health, folks. These
a bit of bragging rights for
yep,
the guys.
Yes, Darren, that's correct. Bragging rights.
Good bragging rights between these guys. You just buy yourself a bike.
Exactly.
Whether it be expensive or cheap, you
Yes.
just come out and you ride your
Quite
bike.
agree.
Yeah, so
Because those of you in the afternoon going home from work around 4 and 5, you can see Mr. Kentish on his bike every afternoon, trucking along. Folks, with all of the issues we have on the island with blood pressure and cholesterol and diabetes and those diseases, I think one of the way to actually prolong life and give yourself a good quality life, because the object of life is to prolong it, is to get a bicycle and some other form of exercise. But I can tell you, cycling is, to me, the best way to exercise.
yeah. And for the younger ones, I would definitely say it's a good thing for them to keep them focused.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, channel their focus
Yes.
into something productive.
Yes.
You know?
With all of the issues that we're having on the island, Darren, if you were to harness these youngsters and get the interest going in a particular direction, I think we can see a reduction in gun violence, the drug abuse. I think cycling is an avenue where we can actually channel a lot of these youngsters to, provided we can get them in.
Yeah. Well, I think if you look for a few that are pretty interested in, you probably even donate them a bike. You don't have to be on the expensive side, but you test them out with a cheap bike, see how they perform, and then later on probably they upgrade. Sometimes the parents might be interested in buying them such expensive bikes, because we know cycling is an expensive sport, but I think people could probably pitch in, because my first bike I received, it was a gift, you know, and that's how it started out. My parents weren't going to buy me such an expensive bike, so
Quite agree with you, Darren. Quite agree. Another aspect of cycling that a lot of people tend to ignore is that when we are in school, we look only at the academic achievement of students.
yeah.
And once we... Oh, Carrick has a technical. Carrick has
So
a
there you
technical.
have Kentish right now, has
Oh
a bit of
my.
technical right here.
Oh my.
His chain came off.
Has to be disappointing. Has to
Having
be
a bit of a
disappointing.
difficulty there with Kentish. Rolandia is coming down
Yep,
right now
she's
in the
coming.
green. That's our only female cyclist there. So she's walking her
And
way
Darren,
down.
is going to be hard for Kentish if he doesn't get his issues resolved and get back on the pedal and be upright. It's going to be a challenge for him, because that win is not easy.
Yes, he's still right now trying to get his bike going.
Oh my.
I think Josh will catch him. The young lady, Rolandia, she will catch him as well.
Has to be disappointing. Such a race like this, where he could have stamped his foot down and have some bragging rights at the end of the day, go to his office tomorrow and brag among his colleagues what he did to the rest of these professionals here. But Kentish, that might be another day. If there's tears in your eye, I do agree, because it's kind of disappointing. And Darren, is he back up, or is he still down?
He got back up here, but he's pretty far behind right now. So
unless this peloton goes slow,
Kentish won't be able to catch back in if this peloton picks it up.
but if he can get assistance from whoever's in the back, then he still might be in for a fighting chance.
Still looking to see if I can see any sign of him coming up, but nothing from Kentish as yet.
Folks, we're passing Mary's Breakery back on our east.
Okay, there he is right
the
now.
quarter.
Kentish is coming up from by the lake stoplight right now.
Oh my, he's still a fair way back. It's going to be a bit of a challenge for him. But if he put his hands down and he put a good effort in, and providing this group goes slow, then Carrick might have a fighting chance again. But the wind is very strong. It's a very strong wind coming from the east. So it's going to be real difficult. Real difficult for him to get back in. Folks, we're passing Proctor's Supermarket, then we're gonna be in the corner of St. James Medical School. And that's where it's gonna be worse, when we hit the long path and the wind is in your face. Any sign of carrot yet, Darren?
So we're here right now passing JW Proctor's, walking our way up to the start finish line right now. There's a little breakaway right here, a 3-man break between the sport category, and in the caddy category is only 2 riders, so they're up there with the sports riders.
So Darren, so you're saying the youngster in the white is also a caddy?
Yeah, that's Kamari.
Okay, so now I can understand what you said earlier, that you don't see any break from the caddy and the sport.
Yeah.
So you anticipate a finish among all 5?
So they probably would keep this pace right to the end, and we expecting to see a sprint. I don't know how well Hobson's sprint is, but the guy in the lion jersey, I call him Jay. I think Jay might be the strongest sprinter in here.
I think Hobson might be able to roll better on the flat. I'm not certain if he's going to risk sprinting, but I am seeing signs of Kentish in the back. So it appears as if Kentish will rejoin. No.
Well, if he does catch back in, I know he did a pretty hard effort to come back in here. And kudos to him for catching back in if he does.
And he probably will, Darren, because I can see him in the rearview mirror, and that is something I could not see him before. If Kentish was to join this group again, this is going to be a total reset, different flavor, and anticipate different results. Folks, we are in the Farrington proper now, approaching Nick. Nick, wherever you are, hope you're looking at this live. Your mother's doing a tremendous job, as always. But, you know, there's some issue with a driver there. Just hope the driver understands that it's a cycling race and process, and they can drive
so
it.
Right now, with how windy it is for Kentish, he's dropping back a bit now. I'm not seeing any sign of Kentish right now. So, like I said, if he does catch back in, kudos to him, because he had to work hard to get that. But I'm not sure if he will be able to catch back in this group.
Now will be the chance for him, Darren, if he was to come back in. I mean, yeah. Okay, very slow. We're doing about 30 kilometers. So we have the novice and the sports. 20 kilometers actually. And the race is actually controlled by the novice, by the caddies.
The caddies, yeah.
My word. Jay is a man who's been riding just about every morning. Why is Hobson allowing these little kids to control his tempo is left to be seen. Richardson, he also rides a lot. So these guys should be able to control these 2 little youngsters. Now it will be very disappointing and discouraging if these youngsters were to control both Jay, Richardson, and Hobson.
Yeah, but you could definitely tell that these cyclists right here is at the sport level, because Jay and the other guys out in the wind. Basically, they're out in the front. They're to the back, but still in the front, because they're facing the wind on their own.
Well,
Hobson is in a pretty good position, driving right here.
That's a very good assessment, Darren, and I believe Hobson's position came from his riding with us in the morning.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
So just being able to stay there in the wheel.
Yes, so he learned.
Other riders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Darren has a very good assessment.
So what would be good for Jay and the other guy to do
is to get in line.
To get back in. So there we have a little attack right there by Kamari. A little acceleration by him. Nothing too hard. Dimitri is right on his wheel.
And that comes from experience, Darren, because look at Dimitri. Dimitri is just tucking himself in.
Yeah.
And it shows you that this morning group is really carrying cycling on his back, because look at Hobson. Professional by rights. We all know where Lanny Hobson walks. He walks in Inland Revenue. I think he's one of the persons in charge there. And this is all sports for him. But the morning group has taught him a certain level of discipline. He is in line.
Yep.
Look at where Richardson and Jay is. if those guys were to come in line
So those guys there basically are out in the wind by themselves.
on their own, yes,
Okay,
Darren.
so Hobson just decided to join with them.
Join with them, but he's also in line.
Yep.
So he's sheltering all the way.
Yep. So Hobson, kudos to you on that. You've been learning. That's a good thing. We must say.
Our driver just used the term backpack passer, so he's actually saying that Hobson is a member of the morning group Backpack Riders. Folks, it's all for fun. So we have the sports category. We have Richardson. Of course, we all know where he comes from, the Valley. Of course, we know Jay from the Valley. So the Valley is properly represented here today. Hobson from Ray Hill. Of course, Rowan, he comes from the East. Darren, is that correct?
Yeah, from the east.
And we know Dimitri comes from a line of cyclists. His father, the old gangster Patrick Niles, who was spitting something white today. We still need to understand what was that. It was coming from Patrick Engine's room, but it was very concentrated, and that will be investigated, folks. Because we know at this level, you cannot take nothing in that tank that is illegal. So that will be investigated. So we are going back to the start finish, and when we come, this is the first
This
lap.
will be the first lap right here.
So one more lap to be completed, folks. And Darren, it was a very exciting day.
Definitely was.
It was very exciting.
Definitely
It was safe. Well, so far we had no serious mishaps, and we would pray to the Almighty above that the day will finish just as it started. So Jay is controlling the pack. Yeah, Hobson is very smart. Hobson is an intelligent rider.
Hobson is doing a lot of drafting.
Yes.
That's pretty good about him.
Yes. But Darren, don't count. Tell me where is Kentish? I'm seeing a cyclist coming from the rear.
He's coming in pretty hard.
And he's coming. So
Kentish
folks,
is coming
Kentish
in
just
pretty
might
hard.
rejoin this peloton.
Okay, so there you have it. That's the bell right there. That's the bell telling them one more lap.
But Darren, if you can make sure if Kentish is coming, that this bus doesn't inhibit him.
Kentish is fighting to come back in,
But he also have to be careful with that bus.
definitely has to walk a lot to come back in here.
But he's much closer, Darren, so he's making
Much
progress.
closer. I'm pretty surprised by when I look at Kentish. I definitely didn't thought he would have done it so fast. So Kentish is looking pretty good. The pace slowing down a bit, so he's gaining.
And
Kentish actually is coming back in.
And he have to watch this bus if we can. Sir, if we can get that bus, yeah, we have to be careful with that bus with Kentish coming. Now, how close is he, Darren?
He's a little distance behind the bus, still behind of us, but I think he will be coming back in on this one.
Okay. So you believe he will catch on the way down?
Yeah, he will catch on the way down.
Okay, folks. So that's Darren. He's assistant in the commentary. No, Darren, I think you are incorrect. I think Kentish is in the corner. We have to be very careful here, can't we?
But he'll have to catch back on the way down because he eased a bit.
Yes, Kentish is there. I think Kentish is going to rejoin this group, folks. Folks, cycling, I tell you, is a very exciting sport. It's full of action.
A little bit
Kentish
of
is there.
acceleration right there. So let's
Kentish
see.
is there, folks. Kentish is there. He just have to navigate over this hill and use his energy as, you know, with the tailwind. Okay, Darren, you were saying that he's going to catch on the long one?
Yeah. Yeah, if these guys do any acceleration here, which Kamari is trying to step it up a bit, then Kentish might have a pretty difficult time to get back in there. Okay, there you have it.
Yes. An attack.
Attack by Kamari.
An attack.
So this means the pace will catch up,
An
but
attack.
Kentish will catch this guy right here. Yeah,
And
he will catch
Darren,
him.
you were correct. You did said that the race was going to be controlled by the caddies.
Yeah.
Yes, and we see the way Caddy Ruan is riding, and we see the way Dimitri is riding. Folks, they've turned it up. And the youngster Darren, we have to give her credit. She's still there.
That's Rolandia right there.
Yeah.
Rolandia is there. So guys, we're walking our way down to come back up, and that will be the finish right there. These guys had 2 laps to complete. So in front we have Kamari for the cadets category. There we have Josh coming up right now.
Out for
A bit
Josh.
of obstruction by these vehicles. Hobson fading a little bit.
Yeah, he's struggling, yeah.
A bit hard for him, but I think he will come back in. Hobson will be back in.
So Richardson was dropped, and it appears as if Carrot will catch Richardson.
Okay, so Jay on the front end right now. Hobson in the sofa seat. Dimitri on Jay's wheel, and Kamari closely followed behind of him.
But Hobson might
So
be
we
turning
have-
Hobson might be turning a hard gear to Darren. Look.
Hobson is grinding a bit too much.
Yeah.
That could take a toll on top of him for the sprint.
That's his natural pedal stroke, huh?
Yeah.
Learning to spin.
Okay.
So now he starts to suffer. He comes back to the natural.
So Hobson, I know it'll be a bit difficult for you, but you gotta turn those legs a bit more
Yeah, be a bit more
rather than
efficient.
just
You're grinding.
hunging them up.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me of the old Jan Ulrich style of riding, just grinding.
Bit of a close one there between Hobson and Kamari. Dimitri is pretty aerodynamic
Yeah.
behind Jay right there.
Yes, he is.
Tucked away.
Very smart move. But Darren, you know, when a cyclist go to that hard gear, it shows you his fitness level.
Yeah.
A fit cyclist will not be grinding like that. But again, folks, this is in the sports category. This is what is
Okay,
expected.
so Kamari is losing a bit of feathers right now.
Oh,
He's
and
losing a bit of
what?
feathers right
And
now.
he's using what?
Taking a bit of a shower, trying to catch back in. Dimitri is on Jay's wheel, doing a bit of drafting right there, so that would be good for him. But I think Kamari might be able to catch back in.
Well, by the looks of
But if
things,
Dimitri
Darren.
looks back and see the distance he have on Kamari,
Then
he
he might
would
just
try to take a little
Right.
turn with Jay, and that would be good for him.
Which he probably will, because this is downwind. and
Okay,
if-
so there you have it. Kamari could be a bit discouraged
Yeah.
right now as this gap start to open.
I think he's out.
He could get discouraged, and just maybe,
But remember,
the gap will
Darren,
open more.
on the way back up, if they can keep this distance, if he doesn't close it on the way back up, if he's not strong, then
Yeah,
it's
he
good
will
night
have
Irene for
difficulty.
him.
He will have. Yeah, the attack cost a lot of money. So right now, I think he probably is down to cents right now.
Yeah, before you turn it up, you gotta know how deep you can go.
Getting bigger and bigger.
Darren, I think it's over. I think if this distance can be maintained, I think Dimitri is gonna emerge
There you have
in that
Kamari
category. You can see the look on his face that he's hurting.
Now, plus now.
No, let him know that's illegal. He have to keep his own line.
I know for sure that Dimitri is a pretty experienced rider. He been riding at a high caliber before, so he knows exactly how to draft behind someone. So Dimitri will stay here.
Look at the gears that Hobson is turning. Look at the gears that Hobson is turning.
Too much of a
Too
hard
heavy.
gear right there.
Too heavy, Darren. Too heavy.
But that's not his actual bike he's accustomed to riding, so probably the gear ratio might be a bit harder for those legs. Because normally if he's accustomed to a 52 or even a 50 and he's riding a 53, then it would be pretty hard for Hobson right here.
But he's still, Darren, should be able to use his gears to find a gear that is more efficient as opposed to that grinding action.
Well, you know, this is the sport category, so
Well, that
a
is
lot of
true.
the little strategies and techniques that we might think that they know, they don't really know.
And agreed, because it's a sport, it's all for fun.
Yeah. So that's the difference between the entry-level cyclists and those that are much more on the higher level. So there you have it. Jay and Dimitri. Dimitri is in the cadets category, which would be the one in the blue, and Jay in the sport category in front. So I think this is it. This is the line out right here. Dimitri probably will be taking this one home for the caddies category, first place, and Jay will be taking this one home for his category in the sport category. So there you have it. Dimitri on the front end right now.
And he's turned it
Stepped
up.
up the pace.
And he's turned it up. And
Trying to
Dimitri's
see-
turned it up.
Okay, there you have it. Jay losing a bit of ground right now. Losing a bit of ground. So you see, that's the difference in experience. Dimitri stayed behind and he was drafting all the time. Jay was in front doing a lot of the groundwork. But when Dimitri decided to turn off, Jay didn't have any more.
That's experience at work.
So that's the difference between the riders right here. I know definitely one of the caddies probably would have gone, two of them. I didn't know how exactly they would have gotten it done, but there you have it.
But you said it, Darren. You said it from the get-go.
Yeah.
So I think that you were correct. You said that the caddies were going to control it, and they did.
But even though Jay is in the back of Dimitri, he still will secure first place.
Yeah.
So just in case you guys are trying to wonder, Jay is actually still in force in his category, and Dimitri is in force in his as well.
But Darren, that is current in the current position. But in order for Jay to get that podium, he has to cross the line in an upright position, so he still has to finish.
Yeah, definitely.
No, you can't. You can't say that. No.
So Hobson coming down right now, making his way to the roundabout. Kamari right here, trying to catch back in, but I don't think it will be possible. Because from here, it's just pure motivation for Dimitri right now.
And the wind, Darren, the wind is a big factor.
Major factor right here.
It's a very strong headwind coming out of the fountain.
J legs are turning over a bit slower now. That's the resistance in the wind. And Dimitri as well. His pace has dropped drastically right here.
Well, Jay has to dig deep. He has to dig deep. Folks, we're passing lakes. We're going up for the finish. Okay, we're going up for the finish, and Jay's laboring. You can see the body language. He's all over the saddle, folks. All over the saddle. And there's Carrick.
There you have Kentish right there.
Has to be a disappointed
Still trying
man.
to catch back in, but it won't be possible for Kentish to come back in on this one.
Has to be disappointed.
So Jay in the lead for his category, which would be the sport category, and Dimitri in front for his in the caddies category. So two different categories, guys, just in case you're wondering. So we're coming up alongside Jay right here. This is Jay. This is your leader for the sport category. And we're walking our way up now to the front, which would be the man himself, Dimitri. In his category, there was only two riders, so it wasn't too hard for him. All he had to do was secure his first place by breaking away from his opponent.
Well, Darren, I can tell you, that fella called Patrick Niles have to be a proud man today.
Definitely.
Patrick couldn't do it in his category.
But his son did.
But his son is doing it. Dimitri showed Patrick how to get a podium. Patrick have failed and his son is doing it. Shalice, you two have to be a proud mother today because Dimitri's bringing it home. Sad that DeAnthony wasn't here to say this. But DeAnthony, if you're listening, I call him Fuzzy, so you know that who I'm referring to. And here comes the youngster, Darren. She's still in the game.
So there you have it. This is Rolandia right here.
Still in the
She's
game.
from St. Martin, the only female cyclist. So we're calling out to all parents. If you have some change, support your kids. Try to get them on a bicycle. Some of you may be wondering, what can I do to channel my children's focus? Try a bicycle. Don't go too expensive. Average bike for them maybe is about I would say $800-900. It could be less. You could probably buy a second-hand one to try out. because it's kids you're dealing with, and from there you go and see exactly how they pursue this career in cycling.
But Darren, one of the challenging things that you might hear from the parents is the risk of the road. So if there's a way that some sort of nursery can be created, some sort of breeding ground, and then you get an avenue like a park, I don't know where, maybe sandy ground, some controlled area where the kids can learn the basics of bicycle first and the safety aspects of riding. To me, those are things that I would want to see before they can actually bring them on the road.
Well, actually, the Angular Cycling Association was trying to organize something for those younger ones. We were trying to get them on BMX bikes to see if we could teach them a bit of bike handling, see if we could train them a bit on the BMX, keep everyone basically in the same range in terms of money.
Right.
And then they walk their way up if they want to ride the road bikes. So we'll try to push towards that. We'll try to get all our cyclists involved to see if they could put in a bit of time with the kids, because they are the future tomorrow as well. So we have to put in some time with them, you know.
But Darren, I can tell you, I want to thank Von Hazel for inviting me out today so I can witness this event. And whenever there's a next event, I'll appreciate if I can get the same invite. But from what I've seen today, it's encouraging. So once again, from the depths of my heart, I would like to say thanks to the past president for the past presidents, plural. Don't want to single out and left anyone out, for the foundation that was laid, and I would encourage the current president to keep pushing the sport, because there is a future. We would have seen, Darren, what Hassan did down in Montego Bay today.
Yeah.
He left Anguilla written all over the streets in Jamaica.
Yep.
So if Hassan can do that, there's a lot of other Hassanis somewhere else.
Yep. It's either that or even better than Hassan.
Exactly.
So he has just paved the way for probably some young one looking on.
Exactly. And we know what Zambeze is doing up in Italy.
Definitely.
So folks, there's a future in cycling. This young man have to be making his parents proud. Patrick have to be a proud man today. And if Patrick is not proud, then I don't know what. But Dimitri is doing a master work, Darren.
Yeah, Dimitri is riding pretty good right there. Legs is turning.
Look at his farm, Darren, on the bike.
Yeah, that's a pretty good farm.
Yes.
He's in his aerodynamic position right there. He's not in his drops, but he's pretty aerodynamic.
Exactly. Yeah, his
legs are turning over pretty good.
Good. His posture is good.
He's up in his gears. He's using his cadence rather than just grinding those gears.
Exactly.
So that's pretty good of him.
Riding efficiently.
So he will be taking home this one here today. We could comfortably say that Dimitri will be your winner for the cadets category.
Darren, I am impressed with Dimitri's cadence. He's not fighting the bike. It is smooth, it is fluid, very good form.
Yeah, that's where experience comes in.
Yes, indeed.
He's not a newcomer to this sport.
Indeed.
He stops for a bit, but he's not a newcomer. So all of these techniques here, he would have learned over the years that he's been riding.
Yes, indeed.
And that's pretty good about him.
And today he's showing his father how to win a bike race. That's what's on my heart, Darren. Patrick is an experienced rider from the days of John T. and cannot win a bicycle race.
Well, Danga said today that he was coming out for Patrick, and Danga delivered.
Well, and up to the day, Patrick can't deliver, but his son is.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a future. No future for Patrick. But his mother has to be proud. D'Anthony, up in Patrick, Jacksonville, your brothers bring it home.
He's here on the horizon right now. We're making our way to the Best Buy right now. The finishing is at Tropical Flower. So he will be taking home this one today.
Less than 1 kilometer from the finish. And D'Anthony Niles is on the home stretch.
We don't know if he'll stand up, give us a little bit of spice to the line.
Well, he's down in his drop bars now.
Yeah,
Darren.
he is down in his drops. Let's see if you'd stand up and give us a little kick, a little sprint.
But no need to be, because he's not racing against the clock, really. He's just looking for that line.
So there you have it, guys. Dimitri Niles in the caddies category. He will be securing the first place. He's looking back to see if any of his opponents, well, his one opponent coming up, but he's nowhere to be found, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a shame! Patrick Niles cannot win a race, but his son did. Dimitri Niles is the winner.
There you have it. There you have it.
Very good ride.
He's coming up to the finish. He's coming up to the finish line.
There you have it. And there you have it.
That's it.
His father could not do it, but he did it. Good ride, Dimitri.
Him on his win today.
Folks, it was a pleasure being in your house, being in your living room. Here's where we sign off. Until next time, once again, special thanks to the Angola Amateur Cycling Association for hosting these races. It was a safe race, it was fun, it was exciting, and look forward to being with you again.
just winning some a pig. That was a prize. The ambassador racing for a pig. A pig. Racing for a pig.
Name my wide angle lens.
Sorry guys.
I need my wide angle lens for these bellies.
But Larry's a problem, you know.
Nice. That's right. Let's go.
My turn.
Yeah, Larry, team belly.
My turn. My turn.
Good job.
Now coming in, we got.
you got one?
We have, of course, the young female doing well. She's gonna finish.
Ready? One team.
Yeah, man.
Why still not represent today, boy?
Aye.
Still not represent.
Hang on, that was a lot.
Yeah.
How you find the bike? A lot of difference.
That's right. Let us all bring in Rolandia for finishing the race. The only female in her category, and she's finishing in with grand style and completion. Bring them in. Congratulations. Nice job. Good job. That's right. Let's get. We can get her straight on the podium, right? She can go straight on the podium. On the top. Right to the top, right to the top. Congratulations, Rolandia, one time.
Keep going, Sam. Keep her back there. Keep her straight. Yeah, make sure. You don't come in so fast. Keep walking that big. Yeah. Ah, cool.
Good job. Yeah.
Number one.
Good job. Now, straight to the boat.